All right, we're back for more, as Rat would say. And speaking of Rat, this podcast is now fully sponsored by Stephen Piercy's at Mike Knuckles. For you comics and rock and rollers, get a pair of Mike Knuckles, man. They look cool and they make you feel tough, even if you aren't. We on this podcast we get all kinds of guests: porn stars, David Arquette, Tawny Katane, UFC legend Don Fry. Today we got a dude I've known for 10, 15, 20 years on the LA comedy scene. He's what they call a real up and comer in the business. You've seen him on film, TV, voiceovers. I mean, this guy is basically the successful version of me. So please put your hands together, your little greasy, dirty sausage hands, and clap it up for Skyler Stone.
Do I come on now?
You're on, baby.
Oh, I didn't know when that would happen. You're like, I'm gonna do an intro. You know, some guys like pre-record the intro and then they come over.
Not
like
me.
You don't fuck around like that.
Well, I don't edit this. Everything we say airs. Carlos Herrera. I'm not sure if you know Carlos.
I know Carlos. Yeah, I love
Great
him.
dude. He was on 2 weeks ago with Sandy Danto, and he said the N word, and I mean the hard R.
Yeah.
And I left it in. So
You're just like, that's just how it goes. But you're a guy that can you're a guy that can get away with that. You really are. Don't you understand that?
I mean, I was actually raised by a black guy, so I never. It's such an awful word, but I see what you're saying.
I'm just saying, like you can't. Not everybody can just like. I don't feel like any comic could walk out and use that word. Like if Whitney Cummings did it, like people would be up in arms. But there's something about you. You kind of fall in that. You're gonna like this in that Louis C.K. category where like Louis can just get away with that. I don't know what it is. Like it's an unexplainable thing that someone has to have that can't be explained. I feel.
Well, I think people, if they heard me say that word, and I don't say that word in public.
Yeah.
In public, you come over at my house. It's like a Ludacris concert in here. They would know I am the least racist person on the planet. So as long as they know it's not coming from hate.
Are you mad that the word faggot has become that now?
I mean, I have a lot of gay friends because I live in a gay neighborhood. So it's, I don't think anything trumps the N-word.
I don't know, dude. That's quickly becoming... I'm not going to name names, but there are comics that have gotten removed off series for accidentally saying that word on stage in the middle of an improv with a certain head of a network right next to the person they were doing crowd work with. They said that word, and then that week they were fired from the show.
Oh, it was probably, Hollywood's run by, not maybe all of it, but... I mean, you know more than I do. You book more things than I do. It's run in large percentage by homosexual men.
Homosexuals, sure.
Or women.
Yeah.
No,
there's a lot of gay people in Hollywood, but I just think it's funny that we've now taken the comics to our job is to be up there and be sensitive. Dude, I thought our job is to do the exact opposite. Like that's to be politically correct on stage. I think it is. It's the sweeping death, the black cloud that is like looming over comedy right now. And the amount of people that have had to apologize in the last couple of years. Did you ever see Richard Pryor apologizing in public and giving press releases? Like, dude, we've had Jeff Ross have to apologize for the Penn State joke. Dane Cook having to apologize for the Batman mass killings in Colorado joke. Daniel Tosh apologized for a rape joke. And then the only one to fucking stand up and say, I'm not apologizing for shit was little old Natasha Leggero saying, I'm not going to say sorry because I didn't mean anything bad,
Yeah, no, I love Natasha. She's... I remember that's one of the neat things about this business. I remember doing open mics with her at shitty coffee houses, and now I just was saw her in the movie The Neighbors.
Yeah, she was in Neighbors. Yeah, that's right.
I just love I love your success, and it's neat to see people you were in a shitty coffee house with in Valley Village, on the tube.
Oh, dude, you never know. You never know who's gonna be what. At one time, wait, who was it that was opening up for who? Was it Limp Bizkit or Korn? One of them was opening for the other, and then the other one just got bigger. Who?
Well, I mean,
Limp was opening for Korn, and then Limp ended up getting kind of bigger, right?
Yeah, and then, it's like when now I'm a little older than you, so I'm dating myself with this vast knowledge. Kiss opened up for Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
Right before they released Alive. Because Kiss's first 3 records sold shit.
Yeah.
And then Alive blows up, and I think the next tour, it was reversed, where Kiss was the headliner.
Dude, it happens all the time. You know what I mean? And by the way, you and I could talk concerts forever because I love studying who opened for who or who was at a festival but was billed lower than so-and-so and then one day just blows past everybody. If you look at the Coachella posters, they're fascinating because you'll see the Killers, like the last band in 2004, I think, and then 4 years later, they're the top band just right under Paul McCartney. You know what I mean? It's fun to watch that shit, but bringing it back to comedy, like, dude, I remember getting like MySpace messages from Adam Devine saying, "Hey, I just got to town. Would love to do your show sometime." And then now Adam's way bigger than I am. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny to see somebody asked to do a show, and now I'm going, "Hey, do you mind doing my show? I'd love to have you on." You know what I mean? It happens all the time.
I remember that's why you should be nice to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you
should do it anyway.
You should do it anyway, but yeah, I mean that is a nice reminder. You know what I mean?
I remember when he was like the door guy. Like he was the little guy in the booth.
Oh yeah, he worked for Rita, didn't he?
He was like the little guy in the booth. Are you on the list, sir? I'm like, who's this guy? And now,
God, that's funny. I barely remember him doing. I know he worked for Rita for a little bit, but I barely remember that. But yeah, I mean, you never know. Like, I mean, because you also, when you watch interviews of legends that you love, and you just hear somebody talking about being a door guy. Who's been a door guy at the store? Haven't a ton of guys been door guys?
I mean, Steve Renazizi.
Yeah, I remember that.
Ari Shafir, Nick Youssef.
What about back in the day though? There wasn't Letterman.
Oh, I think Mark Maron.
Oh, Mark Maron, huh?
Many.
Did you ever work there?
You'd think I would have because it's more my vibe, the darkness and sarcasm. But I'm like in a weird place up there. Like everyone loves me, but I'm not past. So.
Wait, you're not past there?
No.
How's that possible?
It's I don't know, to be honest with you.
But you have one of the most like. First of all, there's not a comic that doesn't know who you are, I feel like. So you're one of those guys where everybody knows who you are. You also very much stick out. You're not like anybody I've ever met. I don't mean just in comedy. I mean on planet fucking Earth. So with that alone and the fact that someone like Schneider has fucking thrown the water on you and said, "Come with me." Who else have you opened for on the road?
I mean, Schneider's definitely the biggest. I mean, he's about it, really. I mean, maybe one or two shows with Russell Peters, but it wasn't like I was the only opener.
Like you were his guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, dude, like for him, I mean, for Russell to say, "Yeah, you can do it," like he obviously thinks you're funny or he wouldn't have you on the show.
Yeah. I mean, he's great.
What's the process? By the way, I'm not past at the store.
That's crazy.
But I've never really I also have never, you don't see me there much. You know what I mean? Like I'll go there once in a while. And to be honest with you, it's usually when I'm fucked up and I'm already on the strip. And so maybe that's one of the reasons why I don't know, I'm not like in there is that when I do show up, like, it's like, dude, I'm going to stop by the store right now. And then I don't even remember stopping by really.
Well, it's definitely the funnest of the three clubs in, the Sunset Strip, Melrose area. But,
funnest in what's just because it's such a, it's more of like a brotherhood fraternity place, or what do you mean?
It's a frat house for sure.
It is a frat house for sure.
And you never know what you're going to see there. You could see, it's like the bar in Star Wars. I mean, it's just every unsavory character in the comedy scene is there. And, it's like the Improv, as you know. I mean, you have a great show there. Is it once a week or once?
Once a month, called Comedy Rocks.
And is it usually on Tuesday? I mean,
it's always on a Tuesday. It's not necessarily like the second or the third Tuesday. It's whatever Tuesday I can make work. And then I just, I like to blow it out, man. And we get great lineups. I mean, shit. Our lineup 2 lineups ago was Jeff Ross, Dane Cook, Adam Devine, Christopher Titus, and I'm missing somebody.
And you.
And me and
Dalia.
No, Dalia wasn't on that one. I feel like it was Bobby Lee. But we really blow it out. I'd say about 9-10 times a year it's a benefit. So that helps in getting a lot of the guys to want to do it, but a lot of those guys I've just known for years anyway. And the good thing about my show is, it's going to be sold out because, dude, I fucking cracked the whip. Like I do put like a couple young guys on, but like they're there to sell some tickets. You know what I mean? And,
oh, sure.
And like they never have a problem with it because I can't tell you how many times I've gotten a message where they're like, "Dude, thank you for having me on the show. I know you were all over me to sell tickets, but I ended up inviting a manager. He saw me go on between Jeff Ross and Christopher Titus. He fucking loved it. He signed me the next day." So like, I've gotten some shit from comics going, "I can't believe Skyler treats it like it's a bringer." I'm like, first of all, a bringer show is fucking all guys. The whole lineup is like, it's people that aren't even paying attention to each other, and their audience members are even worse. They're not paying attention to other comics. They're there to laugh at their own fucking friend. You know what I mean? And then it's a shit show because it just, the levels goes up and down as far as vibe of the room. I don't think, like, I've just had a couple comics like, yeah, I heard Skyler won't put someone on that's not a name unless they sell tickets. Like, why do you care about my formula? Like, if it's been sold out 7 years, what the fuck do you care? You know what I mean?
Dude, I will say you put me on one.
I did put you on one, yeah.
And it was probably the best set I've ever had. Literally,
you
the best
crushed that night.
10-minute set I've ever had in my life, and I remember it like it was yesterday. So,
well, it was like it was a great night, you know. And then see, that's the other thing. And then sometimes I do put like you know, if I open up my Facebook inbox right now, all it is messages of either somebody that saw Con back in the day, my old show, or it's fucking people that are like, dude, here's my set, please put me on. And I don't know what to say to people, and I also have a lot of anxiety. Like, I have to write people back. I can't ignore people because I hate it when someone doesn't write me back. Don't you hate that?
That's my biggest pet peeve.
It's like, dude, even if it's one line, just say, hey man, sorry, I can't. Just let me know. You know what I mean? Like, so like I do write everybody back, and it takes me some time, but I have a lot of anxiety because like I can just see some young guys going like, dude, like, you know, who the fuck's this guy think he is? I can't do his show. And they get the wrong attitude. And it's like, dude, like, you mean shows I couldn't get on when I just fucking got here that I would have murdered to do? Like, you know.
Oh, yeah. I still can't get on most shows.
There's shows like, I'm not on the 10 o'clock show Friday night at the Laugh Factory. I'd fucking love to be on that lineup with like Tosh, Dalia, Dane, and like whoever else is on it, Ahmed. That would be amazing. Like
Byron Allen.
At every fucking... Sully McCullough. Oh, dude, he used to call me, and he used to go, Jamie Masada, for those of you out there who don't know do you talk about Jamie a lot on this at all?
Not really.
Jamie's the owner of the Laugh Factory, for anybody out there that doesn't know. Buddy. His famous phrase is buddy. He calls everybody buddy. He's a character. I mean, talk about a guy that could also be in a Star Wars bar. I mean, he's a fucking character. Yeah. And so I used to do my show there. That's where I started doing my own show. And he used to call me, and like, you know, I would have all these contacts of people I want to book, and he'd go, buddy, I have the hottest comedy show for you, the biggest and the best. I don't do the best Jamie. There's plenty of people out there that do way better, but I've got the biggest and the hottest names in comedy that you will not believe. These are the greatest comedians. Like, and I'm sitting here like, I've got emails from Dave Attell going, let me know if it's 8 or 10. I think I can swing by. Or Jay Moore emailing me saying, yeah, I think I'm cool. Like, you know, I've got all these people, and Jamie is very meticulous about his lineups. Like, it's not like the Improv where you bring the lineup to them. Right. Like Jamie, even if you have your own show there, Jamie books the lineup. Like, you don't really book it. And so, and by the way, this is no disrespect to any of the comics that I might name in this. Doesn't mean they're not funny, but at the time, this is like 2004, and he's saying, I've got the hottest lineup ever for you. And you're thinking, oh my God, he's going to blow this shit out with like Damon Wayans and fucking, and he'd be like, here you go. Marty Belofsky, right? Ron Pearson, Sully McCullough. By the way, all very funny people, but like he would like, it would be like this tease, like this movie trailer tease of like, wow, I'm about to have like the fucking hottest show in the world. And it's like, it's a bunch of vets, sure, but like, you know, and he would literally tell me, and I have to write Dave Attell back and go, sorry, Dave, I can't have you on. I'd have to write him back and say, I can't have you on my show. My show's booked.
That's crazy.
That's why I took it away from the factory. So, you know.
Well, I mean, the Improv shows rock, and I've never not seen it completely packed. And
oh yeah,
even if comics can't get on it, they should go and schmooze after, man. I've gotten gigs at your show not even being on it.
Yeah, you know, you were schmoozing, and you were just hanging out, having a good time, and I can't remember who didn't show up. It might have been Craig Robinson, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was not Raj Desai. It was Aziz.
Was it Aziz?
I think Aziz Mencia, and maybe even Russell Peters didn't show up, and Paige just grabbed me and said, get up there.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
That was great.
I remember that. Yeah, I mean, I like doing the show at the Improv. You know, and again, for any comics out there, I do get people on, and I do get my friends on here and there, but my formula is 6, 7 A-listers, and then 2 guys that are in charge of selling tickets, and then I try and sell the rest. And I don't even make them sell all of it. They probably sell like 80 of them, and I sell like the other 120. So, you know.
Well, it's just a misconception that if you have a big show, like, you know, that you can just get all your friends on it, whether it's TV, a comedy show, or it's not that easy.
Well, I also do it like I don't lie about any of this shit. I do it for a very selfish reason. Like people are like, why do you even have your own show? Because like a lot of guys that have their own show, like they're still just trying to like find their way in the biz, and I'm still trying to find my own way too. But like I don't really need to have a show. I don't need the money. I don't need like the stage time. I get good stage time. To be honest with you, I got tired of going out there and doing a set and inviting producers or a casting director for a job that I'm on the 5-yard line of. Like, I'm about to get it. It's between me and 2 other guys. My managers are like, dude, it'd be pretty sweet if you did like a sweet set in front of him right now. Like, and he's like, that's the guy. That's the guy. And how many times have you heard a comic got a job after they finally, I think Bill Lawrence even came out and saw, I think Morin got him to come out and see Glassman. I don't really know the whole story, but I'm pretty sure that Brent got him to come to the store. And that's when Bill Lawrence was like, well, look at the chemistry. Like, they're hanging out at the club. They're on stage. They're killing it. Girls, guys like them. So there's something about doing a killer set with a killer room. And I got tired of inviting people out and like to somebody, some promoter would just promise me like, oh, dude, we're sold out every month. And then how many times have you showed up to someone's show and they're like, God, you should have been here last week, right? You've heard that, right?
I want to do a comedy club called You Should Have Been Here Last Week.
Oh my God. Because I can't tell you how many times guys are like, dude, I'm telling you, man, we turned away 40 people. And I'm like, you fucking liar. And then, I have a good set, but there's something about a set in front of a room where it's fucking sold out. So finally, like, you know what? You want something done right, you do it yourself. So I just created my own show, and I'm selfish about it. The only reason I do it is so every month I have a guaranteed room where if there's a director I'm working with on set and some co-stars, I can invite them out, take care of their drinks, show them a good time. It's a fucking networking opportunity for me. It gets me jobs. That's all I do it for.
But you're smart though, because the D'Elias, the Danes, and the Russell Peters, they'll remember that you hooked them up with a fat spot, and maybe you get to bit part in a movie or a TV show.
I mean, I don't,
a big part.
I honestly, like, also, I know that everybody's selfish in their own outright, in the sense that I don't know that those guys look at it and are even thankful or like, oh my God, Skyler gave me a nice spot. I mean, those guys don't need me and they don't need my spot that I'm offering, but it is just kind of win-win. It's like, I could use you because that's going to pack the room. And then, at least, like, let's put it this way. I'm not going to name names, but there's some comics that, like, I know they bring girls to my show because they just know it's going to be sold out. You know what I mean? They're like, I'm going to bring a girl because this is the night that, like, I don't even have to, like, worry. Because, dude, I've seen some killer lineups at the factory where it's not sold out. I'm like, what the how did you not sell this out? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I don't think outside of 2 or 3 comics, very few names sell out a show now. It's just...
Well, my list is really spoiled. Like, dude, I'm not even kidding, dude. Last month, I had Deion Cole, Aries Spears, Chris D'Elia, Justin Willman, the magician, big guy. I mean, he's got like 100,000 Twitter followers. Been on Ellen 4 times. Justin Willman, Deion Cole, Chris D'Elia, Aries Spears, Tommy Davidson, and my guest list. Like, I got more like messages and people saying like, that's a pretty light lineup for you. Like, they were calling that light. I mean, it's like, motherfucker, I had an in living color cast member, D'Elia, like the hottest guy in town right now, and like Dane popped it. And you're gonna tell me it's just people. They want like 10 fucking names. You know what I mean? They're like, I live in LA.
Well, I mean, Schneider is a name to add to that list. I've never seen him not sell out a room. It's unbelievable.
For real?
Dude, 4 years of working with him, and we'd play some pretty wacky, like a casino in the middle of New Mexico. That's just, it really was like the bar in Star Wars, where there's no buildings. You just see this thing in the distant. You get in there, and it's 2,500 people there.
Well, when you think about it, he, He's one of the greatest SNL cast members of all time.
I think so.
He wasn't an impression guy at all. That was not what he was. But I love original character guys. I love them, dude.
Well, I mean, he's not only, people forgot he started out as a stand-up.
Yeah.
So, but he got famous right away. So,
well, stand-up was funny though. Like, because I remember seeing him on, correct me if I'm wrong, you would probably know since you know him. Didn't he do Rodney Dangerfield's stand-up special? The Young Comics special. I feel like Rodney presented.
He did do a Young Comics. I'm not sure if it was Rodney's. And yeah, he blew up. I think he got SNL pretty soon after that.
Well, I think it was Spade. If I'm not mistaken, it was Spade, Judd Apatow, and Rob on this, and they killed. Like Rob was really fun. Like, but you could already see the beginnings of some of his characters that ended up on SNL in his stand-up. Like the copy guy, I remember seeing a bit where he kind of did the copy guy. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like I don't remember what it was, but dude, I mean, he was one of the greatest ever on that show. And so, and that was early 90s. And then he's one of the guys that translated that into a film career. And it's not surprising to me. I mean, that's like a 15-year window where like he was in TV and film quite a fucking bit. Like, you know, I could see a lot of people coming out to see him.
Well, he basically, I mean, the number one question I get from fans who were at the show or comics asking me about is he funny or not, which is crazy, is I didn't even know he did stand up. It's like,
well, when you ditch it for a long, I mean, dude, we live in a society where it's like, dude, you better fucking keep reminding people who you are, because I mean, dude, I get shocked. I'm meeting young people that don't know who U2 is. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you have to understand, like, you know, I have a 7 and 10-year-old, and this new generation fascinates me. That, like, you know, like the other day we're watching Mr. Mom on TV, and my kids are like, "This guy's really funny. Who is he?" And I'm looking like, how do you not know who Michael Keaton is? But they're 7 and 10 years old. They have no fucking idea. You know?
I had my first kiss ever at that movie.
At Mr. Mom?
At the Avco Theater in Westwood. And
oh, so you born and raised LA?
Born and raised in Bel Air, California.
Get the fuck out of here.
So, you know, and you know, this is Bel Air in the 70s, so it was a wild vibe there. You know?
I'm dying to know how you became who you are. How many siblings do you have? 2
brothers, 2 sisters.
Are you in the middle?
I'm the baby.
You're the baby?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Parents both deceased, but died 2 months apart. I mean, it was just romantic. We knew it would happen like that. So
wait, what? How long ago was that?
98.
So how old are you now?
45, man.
So you're 45. So you would have been how old when they died?
Oh, I was 30.
You're 30. Wow, that's a fuck of an age to lose them.
That's pretty young, but I'm glad it happened the way it did. You know, I wouldn't want to see one go on without the
Wayne without the yeah. No, there is something, despite how sad it is, there is something beautiful about like Johnny Cash's wife passes and then he just let go. Like, you know what I mean? Like that. There's a lot of famous stories like that. You know what I mean? Where people sort of, if you don't mind me asking, how did they both pass away?
I mean, they were both pretty sick. I mean, my mom passed first. She probably had cancer for 10 years, but she never went to doctors. She just was like, I don't want to know. So
really?
She probably could still.
Did you all know? Although at that time,
yeah.
we didn't know as much about cancer, but no, we still knew a lot about cancer in '98. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, when I would hug her, I'd feel these massive bumps on her arms. Like there was like, God knows how many. It was like golf balls were under her skin.
And you couldn't talk. Like you didn't have a relationship with her. You can go, Mom, this is for me. I'm your baby. I'm picking you up. We're leaving today. Like she's not that woman.
We had that relationship, but she was just. You know, you can lead a horse to water, but you know.
Yeah.
And then Dad was he was an interesting dude in his own right. So he was like an adventure man, like Jacques Cousteau. And he was.
Is that how you went out?
No, he was.
I thought you were about to be like, what? So he's undersea and he's battling an octopus. I thought it was gonna be like Life Aquatic. He's like battling some bull shark or something.
He actually got the cover of Life magazine.
Shut the fuck up.
Now
your dad was on the cover of Life.
On the cover, not on the back. You know, like when a girl says she's a playmate and she's only in like the busty, dusty ad in the back. That ain't a playmate,
dude. You're blowing my. Your dad was on Life.
And this is when. Now I know this podcast is about you, so I don't want to.
Oh, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, but I do, because my 7 fans listening, they already know my great story. I want them to hear yours, but. This is what I love about having someone like you on. It's just like 2 buddies at a bar.
Yeah, that's the way it should be, man. Rather than straight up like fucking. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, tell me about. You know, I don't have any idea what we're going to talk about when someone comes in. You know, you let it fly, you hit record, and my dad. This was when there was only like 3 magazines in the world: Time, Newsweek, Sports Illustrated, and Life, and you know that was pretty much it. So to get the cover when he got it was a pretty big deal,
dude. It's a complete. That's another thing that saddens me. Life is probably one of those magazines where I bet you a lot of young people have no idea what the fuck it is, that it was ever like really fucking important. You know what I mean?
I mean, you know, I'm hanging out with this chick right now, and you know me, I'm an '80s metalhead, and she has no idea who Rat is.
That kills you, doesn't
like
it?
Rat is my Led Zeppelin, and I know that's crazy to say, but just for me, it's just.
But you like it. I don't ever think that's crazy, because when I hear people say like, "How could you think that this band is better than this band?" Like, dude, I'm a former classic rock DJ. I've gone to over 10,000 concerts. I mean, I've done a lot of fucking music, and like it never surprises me. And oftentimes people love a band because of the time and place in which they heard it. Don't you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, I was basically a teenager in the 80s, so like MTV was popping. Rat was really the first metal band that blew up because of the videos with Milton Berle and just they were lucky. And if you notice the Mike Knuckles I have,
I did see that.
I bought these from Stephen Piercy last week.
Are you serious?
At a P.O. box store in the Valley.
Are you serious?
He was great, man. I just
wait. Is he doing your podcast that you've been talking?
He's coming on. He was supposed to come this week, but he's a pretty busy guy. So it's hard to get people. It took me 3 weeks to get you here. I mean, it's tough.
No, it can be tough. Yeah. Everybody's, dude, when you live in LA and you're both trying to do what we're trying to do, dude, we're not in charge of our fucking schedules.
Yeah. And you have children.
Yep.
And,
kids.
An actual career.
You have a career. You downplay yourself a lot. And that's funny to me. And we're going to get into that. I want to get into that later. Because you make a lot of self-loathing jokes. And I'm curious why you do that, because dude, you're going to be on a sitcom. Like, you may not be Tim Allen, but you're going to be what's the guy he works with? What's the guy he works with on that show?
The guy with the beard.
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
You could be that guy in a heartbeat. He just has a cadence that sells. And you have a cadence, dude. No one talks the way that you talk. So it's going to fucking sell.
And this is real. This is not like people always accuse me of stealing Stephen Wright's vibe. And I love Stephen Wright.
I wouldn't put you in the Stephen Wright category at all. Stephen Wright would never go to a metal show. Stephen Wright would never, you know what I mean? Like,
probably wouldn't.
Dude, I know he wouldn't. I know that I know a lot about him. He's actually one of my biggest influences. I always talk, people are like, who influenced him? Like the three Steves: Steve Martin, Stephen Wright, and Steve Zahn. I fucking love Steve Zahn. Yeah. But nobody talks about him enough. But anyway, I want to get back to what you were talking about.
So we were talking about, I met Stephen Piercy, and he was so nice to me. I basically, got these Mike Knuckles just so I could get him on the podcast. And he said, yeah, man, I'll come do it. And
so he's going to do it.
He's going to do it.
What did he give you? His email, his phone number? What did he give
I got his phone numbers and emails. And, he just left Rat. He quit Rat.
Yeah. I saw a lot of people tweeting you. Like, dude, it was so fun. Like, it's always so funny when everybody knows that there's something that you love. Like, it is funny that like people, I like that about people, that they remember, like, oh, dude, I bet you Earl's not doing too good right now. A lot of people tweeted you that day, right?
That, and when the Ultimate Warrior died, you would have thought that he was my brother or something. I mean, I had A-list comics. I'm not trying to impress anyone by saying that. Texting me, dude, I'm so sorry. The managers of every comedy club in the city. Hey, Earl, I'm really sorry about the Warrior.
Dude, I love the Police, and people know that. Like, I love the Police. People know I love the Talking Heads. Steve Martin, Michael Keaton are people that I talk about a lot. Like, if something happened to one of those people, dude, Jay Moore fucked with me about 3 months ago because I had forgot on the Crab Feast podcast that I had said, like, everybody went around in a circle and said, who's the one celebrity that if they died, it would feel like a family member. You would actually might not leave the house for a couple of days, and everybody was doing. And I chose Steve Martin, but I forgot that I did that. Right. And Jay Moore heard it. So Jay fucks with me. I'm at the Grove and he texts me and he goes, hey man, you okay? And I go, I'm doing great. And in my head, I'm like, oh, Jay's just seeing if I'm all right. That's good. He's just being a buddy. Like, like not enough friends do that anymore. He's like, I'm like, doing great. What about you, Jay? I go, how's the fam? He goes, cool. He goes, apparently you don't know. And I text back, I go, what's going on? He goes, you might want to sit down. At this point, I think he's about to actually maybe mention a friend. Like, just so you know, like fucking whoever, Owen Benjamin's dead. Like someone that I hang out with a lot, And so I'm like, who? And then he just goes, Steve Martin died. He was crossing PCH and a car hit him. I pick up the phone calling. I'm already tearing. Like, when did this happen? Like, I'm already tearing up. He goes, Jesus Christ, dude. I didn't know this would be so easy. Right. He's like, I can't make you cry. He's like, Skyler, I just listened to the Crab Feast. And it still didn't fucking hit me. But like, so I know what you mean. The fact that like there's someone out there that might make you fucking, what were you like? Did you not leave the house? Were you bummed?
I can't say I didn't leave the house, but I'll say this about pro wrestling and really the WWE in particular. They kill you, but because of the road schedule, that they force you to be big or they won't use you basically. But they give you a killer tribute the next night on Raw.
They kill you, but hey, man, you will be remembered. Yeah,
well, the strange thing was he, long story short, he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, which is a big deal because they hadn't talked for 20 years.
Who, the WWE?
WWE and Warrior.
Why?
Well, there was a big steroid trial in '94, so basically everyone ratted on each other. Hulk Hogan said, well, I got my roids from the Warrior. Warrior said, well, Vince told us to go to this doctor. And so they literally did not speak for 20 years. Got so bad that the Ultimate Warrior legally changed his name to Warrior so he could sell shirts with, Vince copyrights everything, ever since Hulk Hogan left. And he didn't copyright Hulkamania or whatever the catchphrase was. Vince made no money on when Hulk Hogan would go somewhere else and sell his shirts. So he started copywriting all the wrestlers' names and all that stuff. So a lot of these guys would leave the WWE and not make money because they didn't have the rights to their own name.
Oh, wow.
So Warrior, as crazy as you think that it's
so you think he's loaded, but he's just not.
Yeah, you think he can't sell any shirts with the word Ultimate Warrior on them.
Isn't that funny that dude, there are so many people that I just assume they're set, and then you actually get to know some people in this town, and they're just fucking fighting like the rest of us, dude.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is kind of a pro. The last concert I saw you at was Van Halen and Kool and the Gang.
Yeah.
Now you would think anyone from Van Halen would be loaded.
Yeah.
Beyond your wildest dreams.
Yeah.
And, the drummers had like 2 or 3 divorces, kids. I don't know how many children he has, but I'm assuming at least 5. And, I'm not saying he's broke, but why do you think they're still touring?
Dude, when anybody's still touring, especially when you know they don't like each other, that's exactly it, dude. Yeah. I mean, the Police toured, and it was all about the dough. I mean, it really was, dude.
Well, people don't realize. I mean, you know how much children cost.
And kids cost. Let me tell you, kids cost.
Yeah. I mean, divorces and alimony and child support. It adds up. So you imagine Van Halen doesn't even have a record deal right now. I don't think that's crazy to me.
I mean, I don't know that they're also like searching for one, but yeah, I mean, like because in today's market, you can just look at Radiohead, Nine Inch Nails, all these bands just like releasing on their own on their website. The Louis C.K. $5 on your site style. You know what I mean? Just like fucking. I kind of like that, by the way. I love that labels are fucking dying. The only thing I don't like about labels dying is there's, I was just talking about this with someone today. Right now, there's only 2 markets in concert world. Follow me on this. There's holy shit, you guys are almost way too old to be touring. Like,
Kiss,
the 2 members of The Who that once in a while go out still. Right. I mean, go down the fucking list. You know what I mean? Like this summer you have Def Leppard and Motley Crue. And say what?
It's Def Leppard, Kiss, and possibly Night Ranger as the opener.
Oh, I thought Def Leppard was with... Motley Crue's doing their own thing. That's right. Motley Crue's just doing fucking their final tour,
which will not be their final tour.
Well, I don't know, man. I got a buddy who vacations with Tommy, and he goes, you got to trust me when I say this is fucking it. And I said, why? Apparently, it also has to do contractually where they've actually signed something saying, I won't call this the last tour unless it is. And like, I don't know. Can you sign something that prevents you legally from touring later if you sign it right now?
I mean, I remember the Kiss farewell tour in '90. Well, no, the reunion tour in '96. I think the farewell tour was in 2000, and it's 2014, and they're still touring.
Yeah, so. I know. I mean, people run out of money, and people.
Ozzy, same thing. '92, no more tours. Tour.
Yeah.
So I went to every show thinking this is it, and here we are, 2014, and. Ozzy's still.
I mean, but the point I was trying to make is that there's guys that are too old to tour right now because it's the nostalgia shit and it still sells. And then there's all these youngins, your Mileys, your Biebers, whatever, and they're killing it on the road. But there is no in between right now. Do you know where's the rock bands? Okay, in the 90s, there was nothing but 25 to 30-year-old rock. Like, I'm not the band being 25 to 30 years old, the members being 25 to, you know what I mean? Young guys.
Like Weezer.
Yes, in a band, like making it like at that age. It's nothing but like, you know, who's the next thing and who is the old thing? Where's the current thing? It's the first generation where, I mean, other than like the Foo Fighters who aren't too old to tour, where's a rock band? I'm talking about rock, by the way. Where's a rock band that's in that middle category? Can you tell me who it is?
I'm maybe the Killers.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, I give you that. I guess then you could also maybe say Kings of Leon.
I mean, when I saw Iron Maiden about a year ago, maybe it was 2 years ago, I'm like, wow, this is going to be a real shitty era when these guys stop and the Kisses. I mean, those bands do.
Isn't it going to be weird?
Put on great There's no band now that's going to put on a show like Iron Maiden in 10 years.
Who's going to be the classic rock of this generation?
I mean, maybe the Killers.
It already feels cool that the 90s are becoming like when I'm listening to classic rock station and they throw on old Pearl Jam, not new Pearl Jam, old Pearl Jam, old Nirvana. I mean, there only is old Nirvana. I'm like, you know what? That is classic rock now because that is an era that mattered and we all liked it. Even us true rockers love that shit. But dude, right now you got to tell me who's going to be in that fucking category, dude.
I mean, I can't. I don't know, man.
It's fucking hard, dude. I mean, Radiohead obviously will be. They're kind of their own thing. They're like, you know, but they're like the Pink Floyd of this generation. Every album counts. Every album's like a fucking theme. All the songs go into each other, you know. But like, other than Radiohead, dude, and I don't know who it would be.
What is this generation's cheap trick? I don't see one. No, I love Cheap Trick.
I do too. I don't see one either. No, I don't see one. I don't.
I'm going to see at the Forum, I think it's July 29th, which was my mom's birthday, Boston and Cheap Trick.
Are you going to that?
You know, I don't know who's singing in Boston. I think it's the guy from Stryper, who, you know, a lot of people shit on them because of the black and yellow Bumblebee outfits.
Yeah.
That guy could fucking sing.
Yeah.
So I think he's the singer, and then Cheap Trick is, you know, they're Cheap Trick. I've never seen them put on a bad show.
What's a concert you went to where you got too fucked up? I don't even know. Do you party at all?
I do. I've never had a drug or drink in my life.
Oh, really?
Ever.
Wow.
Like last night I played a hash bar in North Hollywood. And
that's also hard to believe. See, you are a bizarro. I could never figure out how you came to be person.
I mean, I lived a crazy life. Like my parents...
Did your parents party?
My dad was a big partier, but then he stopped 20 years cold turkey. I mean,
are you the guy? Is one of the reasons that you don't party? You saw too much. You saw what it did to your dad or their relationship or something? Or?
No, my mom said I was the last of the Mohicans in my family. And my mom was like, "Listen, you're the last chance I have to have a sober child." You know,
so she really pushed that on you.
Oh yeah,
and so you saw siblings that were falling by the wayside,
but they weren't that bad. I mean, like my one sister graduated with John Elway, top of her class at Stanford. I mean, the top.
Wow.
I mean, she is incredibly smart.
Did she fuck John?
I wish she did, man. I mean, I could have gotten some hookups at Comedy Works in Denver. You know?
Great club, by the way.
Oh, it's I've never played the downtown one. Rob always plays the Landmark one, which is like heaven on earth because the owner, she's female. It's got like a male name like Bobby, or she's awesome, and that's you get the sense that's how Mitzi was back in the day. Like nothing happens at Comedy Works that she doesn't know about. Yeah, and that's why it's probably the number one club in the country.
It's got to be, dude. A comedy club's got to be like run by someone passionate. When I've ever gone somewhere and you can tell they just imported a guy that comes from like the fucking Chili's, Barn Grill, Applebee's world, and he's treating it as just I'm here to sell food and this is a restaurant. It's like no. Food is very much an add-on. Food is your upsell, right. But don't ever forget why they're fucking there, dude. Because they would sit there with or without food. You know why? Because there are people that fucking sell out in theaters that don't sell food. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're there for a 2-hour show and they know to eat beforehand. So don't ever fucking tell me that the chicken fingers are more important than the vibe of the play. You know what I mean? Putting on a fucking show. You know what I mean?
That's like the guy they brought in at the Improv, who I don't think works there anymore.
Yeah, that's a great example.
He you know, for those of you who don't know, Improv Killer Club in Los Angeles, but that new lounge is kind of like the lobby of a Best Western.
It's fucking stupid. And I've told them, I don't give a fuck if they hear this. I've told them in their face. It looks like a San Jose airport bar.
Yeah, I mean, and before it was like this great, like Cheers type of,
Old wood bar.
Yeah,
it still smelled like fucking like Eddie. Like Eddie's been there since. Dude, Eddie told me a story. I don't know if I'll butcher this because I don't remember all of it. Because I, unlike you, I have had some drinks in my time.
Well, that's all good.
No. I'm saying like, and I remember this night being very drunk and trying to get a couple bits of the story. But Eddie is the famous bartender at the Improv. Everyone knows Eddie. There's not a comic that doesn't know who Eddie is, and he's an extraordinary person. He's been there so long. He remembers Robin Williams and Robert De Niro coming in and saying, we just left.
Chateau.
Yeah, Chateau. Oh, you know this story?
I didn't know they went to the Improv after.
Yeah, Eddie saw them that night, and so like they had just left there. But Belushi's night, dude. What year would that have been when Belushi died?
I mean, I want to say he did this. Animal House was 78. I think he did 1984.
He did a couple 80s
and like
movies.
80. Yeah, maybe 82ish.
Yeah. Well, that's just crazy. I mean, Eddie, there's a guy that like he's seen so much. Like he could tell you so many stories about who made it and who didn't and why they didn't and why they did. And like now they've put him in this bar. He looks so out of place there, doesn't he? Like, yeah.
I mean, you nailed it with the airport vibe. I mean, the bar is like, the TV's nice, I guess, but it's an awkward setup as I don't know. I don't know why they changed it, but your point was that they bring in these people who really don't have comedy club backgrounds to fix up the place, and I think the guy came from a hotel background.
Yeah,
and now they're stuck with it. What are you going to do?
Yeah, no, it's really weird. The whole set. I mean, like a comedy club. It should be nothing but easy, because when something's complicated, that is the hardest thing to get on stage as a performer and embrace and go, oh shit, these people had a hard time getting in. Like there should be no anxiety given to a comedy club. Should just be run so fucking smoothly, dude. You know what I mean? Like just getting on a plane in a very steady fashion. You know what I mean? Do each section one at a time. The Improv is now set up in a way where like you've literally like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like it's a hassle, dude.
Well, it's not brain surgery. I mean,
it's
all you need is funny comics to ensure repeat business. And, that's really the key to me, is just good lineups.
It didn't need to be remodeled. You know what I mean? It just didn't, you know what I mean? I mean, the store kind of probably needs to be remodeled. But
I like the store the way it is.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure. Yeah, I get that that's part of the charm.
You might be able to update the computer systems and I don't know, but the store is like the Black Sabbath of, comedy clubs. Like the Improv is Bon Jovi.
Why do you be...
And that's a compliment. The Laugh...
What's the Factory?
The Laugh Factory is Poison.
Oh, okay, so we're keeping it in hair world. Okay.
And the Ice House is like Tesla. It's good. It's kind of out there, though. It's normal Pasadena.
Well, then Lovitz needs to be, follow me on Lovitz. Lovitz needs to be a lead singer. I'm going to let you choose the band. But let me give you the setup, and then you choose it.
Please do.
So John Lovitz has a comedy club in the Valley. And again, all due respect to John Lovitz. He is one of my favorite people in the business, and we're good friends. But, they're trying to do something pretty impossible there. It's a 3-story club. It's at Universal City Walk, which like people, even if you have it figured out, even if you have the parking down to $2 like they do, I think, like just talking people into going, there's something about that hill. They think they're driving to all the way up to Mr. Burns' house in The Simpsons. Like, it's too far. It's up a hill, and it's in a complex. So follow me on this one. So if Laugh Factory's Poison, and you said Ice House is Tesla, and you said Comedy Store is Sabbath. What'd you say the Improv is?
The Improv is Bon Jovi.
So Lovett's Comedy Club needs to be a rock singer who started. It needs to be his second band that he tried to do after his first band, and it's impossible, and it barely ever got off the ground. But it's a guy that had great success previously.
Well, I mean, I can't give you one under those exact circumstances, but I will say Lovitz is like the guitar player from Poison, who left 4 months before they got their record deal and became huge. He just moved back to Philly and said, I gotta have my wife's pregnant, I gotta go.
He's like, I gotta get out of here.
And he left. And literally 4 months later, they're like bazillionaires.
Is that guy? Did he ever commit suicide?
I think was his name. And
did he kill himself?
Oh no, he went back to Philly, and I think they were from maybe Pittsburgh, and Slash tried out for Poison.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he was basically the choice. But they were like, he came into his audition with like moccasins on and like the hippie, because his parents were like hippies, and and then Cece walks in with like a pink guitar and like 2, different colored Chuck Taylors. They're like, okay, this is the guy. Thank you, Mr. Hudson. We'll see you on the strip.
That's awesome.
So I mean, Lovitz. I mean, it's just Lovitz. All right, let me do it this way. Lovitz is like Stephen Piercy's band after Rat called Arcade.
There you go.
Came out in like 94 when grunge was in full tilt and boy bands were about to take over grunge bands. I mean, if Arcade came out in 88, it's platinum selling up the ass. But Lovitz, I don't think.
So there you go. Lovitz, it's a comedy club happening. Like maybe when Universal City Walk opened and it was the place to go.
Right.
But like, again, when something becomes the place to go, eventually tourists take it over and Los Angelinos want nothing to do with it. Go down the list. Santa Monica Pier, Hollywood Boulevard, just anything that tourists want. When I have a fucking person come visit me, they're like, dude, I want to see all the things. I'm like, well, wait, what do you mean? You want to go where I know that's cool?
Right.
Or do you want to go see the fucking stars on Hollywood Boulevard and take pictures? Where
get stabbed.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, no, dude, I want to go see that shit. It's like, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah. No.
And the Ha-Ha is, oh boy, they're like Brittany Fox. They just never had a shot.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's a reason Lovitz opened up 2 blocks by the Ha-Ha, thinking, oh, well, I mean, that's not a good sign when a competitor's like, oh, we'll just open up 2 blocks from you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
like, you don't give a shit.
It's, you're at the right spot, the Improv.
I like the Improv.
Oh, it's great. Paige is great. The manager there.
Yeah, no, she's
Rita's awesome.
Rita's like everybody's mom. Rita is the comic that, I think she's this generation's Mitzi Shore, to be honest with you.
Well, I wish she was at the Comedy Store.
In some ways, that would make a lot of sense, dude. I'd probably go there if that was true.
Oh, I would love to run the Comedy Store for 6 months.
Would you?
I would. Well, just the talent coordinator spot. I should, because there's so many funny comics like you and like say a guy like Ian Bagg and Swartzen. They don't go to the Comedy Store because they were mistreated by someone, and it's like you're missing out on some great talent.
Well, I think one of the reasons you don't see me there's a couple reasons. A, like if you're not a regular and you can't park in the back, parking's a nightmare.
Oh, horrible.
So I don't like that. Even when I'm not performing at the Improv, they know me well enough that if I go park in that Fred Siegel parking lot, they don't charge me.
Right.
The rule is you're supposed to, they have their list, the show list. And if you're not on that, you're supposed to pay. But I've just made them a lot of money. So they let it go. I guess I don't go to the store kind of has that Lovitz thing for me. It's like, it just seems like a pain in the ass to find parking, and then I got to pay for it. But then I got to say the other thing, the reason I don't go to the store is, I don't know. Like, I just think it's a little weird that everybody has to start by doing like I don't know. I've been here a long time. Like, do I really have to show up for like a couple years on Sunday night, and asking for 3 minutes? And I don't know. I do like if you've had some credits, you don't get to I
think credits definitely get you ahead of the line up there, but who knows? I mean, I know people with credits who aren't in there. It's just
is Swartzen on the wall there?
No, Swartzen's not on the wall. He probably could be if he just asked.
I'm sure he just never really even. I think a lot of people. I don't know that anybody really. I've never been told I couldn't be. For all I know, I know who Tommy is. He knows who I am, but I've never really. I don't know. I guess one thing I don't like is when people I guess there's a vibe. People try and say like, well, you're not a comic if you don't do the store. And I don't like, I'm like, no, you just haven't done a certain thing that a lot of comics have done. I don't think that you're not a comic just because you haven't done it.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like a lot of guys say that though?
Oh yeah. They're like, the store is like the cool place to be in at. Cause it's kind of like a frat house initiation to get accepted up there. So,
but see, as a guy that never had any desires to be in a frat, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's part of why I don't. I don't know.
I mean, I want to get in there, just because it's a late night. It's more of a late night vibe there than, like the Improv kind of shuts down maybe around 1-ish.
Yeah.
But the store, I mean, they've kept the show going till, 3 a.m. sometimes, mainly due to Don Barris, who is like the king of late night there. And, I've never seen a comic able to keep a beat up, dead crowd going like he can. So it helps to have someone who could, it's hard, as it's hard going on toward the end of the night on any show if the crowd's been there for a while. And
does he ever, and I don't mean this in like a derogatory way, but like I've only been there and he just does really weird. Does he do stand up ever, or does he always just do that weird thing that he does up there?
He does like almost like an Ian Baggs style of half crowd work, half jokes.
Yeah, but Ian's got jokes. Like Ian headlines. Ian is at I believe a half hour at least.
Oh yeah, well Don could headline. I'm
not saying he can't.
Oh no, I know.
I'm just saying, and you could say Harlan does a ton of crowd work with his jokes, but I'm just, and this is only my experience. When I've seen Don, it's just been a very ethereal, odd stream of consciousness. Like, I don't know. I've never seen him out there like working out a bit. Like I'll see Steve Burns show up or Nick Swartzen or not Nick, or Bill Burr, and you could tell that they're working out a bit. They're like, I thought of this today and I stopped by because of this bit that I want to get out. I've just never gotten that vibe with Don. Is he ever working out a new bit, or is it just have you ever seen him repeat a bit? Like,
he's got like his probably say 15 home run bits he does, and his crowd work. He does the warm up on Kimmel, and that's probably a truer indicator of his stand-up talent, because it's totally different than the late night vibe he does at the store, which he's a little more free form and free spirited. But Kimmel's a Disney show, so he's got to kind of cater to that audience and the executives, and so he's the only guy who could keep that place going.
I don't really know Don,
Great guy. I mean, probably the most creative dude I know.
What?
He's got, he did that movie, Windy City Heat. And
I love that movie.
And that's still ongoing. There's like going to be a sequel. And,
how can you do a sequel now that he knows what's up?
But that's the beauty of that movie, is he doesn't know. The guy,
yes, he does.
Oh, he does. Everyone, that's like the number one thing people ask is, Perry must know that this is not really.
Now he knows.
Oh, I don't think he does. Even though
I disagree with that.
I don't, dude. Talk to the guy for 5 minutes.
Nah.
He's that. I don't want to say dumb, but he wants to make it so bad.
Well, that may be, but that's just fooling yourself.
But
there's a difference between fooling yourself and actually not knowing. He wants it so bad that he's willing to go, all right, that happened. If I focus on it, I look stupid. If I just keep going and wanting it, it makes more sense. And that's where he's stupid. Like, he's like, that he thinks it's still possible. But I don't think he looks back at that and thinks that movie that he was shooting within the movie was ever real.
Oh, I absolutely do.
I don't know about that.
I mean, I don't either. But just knowing the guy.
It's a genius movie.
But so he does that, and he's got the Ding Dong. He's got all these different projects. So
why does he get so mad at some guys sometimes? Like he's just thrown like his weight at Adam Ray because Adam used one of the guys from the Ding Show or something. And
that I know nothing about, other than I think Adam used one of his Don's Ding Dong cast members, and
but if I'm not mistaken, he didn't take a character that Don created. He took an oddball that Don used on his show and also used that oddball. It'd be like somebody casting you on a sitcom to play a goofy neighbor called Big Earl. You know what I mean? And then that sitcom is still going, but you're recurring and you're not locked down. And I hire you as a guest star on another show because I think I saw you on that. I thought you're talented. And I'm like, I want that guy on my show. And don't use, necessarily the same name or whatever, but I use you. Wouldn't that, it's like Howard Stern. Like, Howard Stern has all those guys on, and he always swears up and down. He's got he's got Stuttering John and everybody. Although that, that's actually a really good example. Isn't the reason that Howard Stern hates Jay Leno is because Stuttering John ended up correspondent on The Tonight Show, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much doing the same thing. I think Don's, and I can't speak for Don or Adam, but just from being an outsider who's someone on the inside at the store, I think Don's point was, a lot of the sketch that Adam and that guy did was based off of info that was from the Ding Dong Show, and it's like, hey, that's Ding Dong Show only shtick.
Oh, then maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm misinformed. I just thought he used the same oddball, and like Don thought, hey, that's my oddball. No one else uses this guy. It's like, well, if that guy's out here to make it, he's going to take any job he can. And if a guy like Adam Ray or any comic comes up to him and goes, yo, I want to use you. I'm assuming that guy, his phone isn't ringing off the hook. He's going to say yes.
Yeah, I mean, that guy who Adam and Don are like arguing over, he's a little out there. So
I'm sure he's going to take anything he can get.
I mean, he pulled me aside once at Citibank and told me about some movie script he was writing. It's like, dude,
dude, shut the fuck up.
I can't. Just please, I gotta go to my non-union audition right now.
Are you in the union?
Oh, here's the great thing. Yes and no. I booked my first 2 national commercials I ever went out on.
Right on.
1988.
1988.
It was a Pepsi and a United Airlines, and I thought
I would love to see those. Are those on YouTube?
I've looked because it's one probably is. The United Airlines was basically I played an old school football player traveling on a train.
Yeah.
And that's the beginning of the commercial, how travel has changed. And then the end is Mike Singletary on the Concorde or whatever United Airlines top plane is. And the Pepsi commercial was an ice hockey commercial. So,
that's funny.
Oh, it was great. My buddy, I used to play hockey Sunday nights, Culver City. Real ragtag group of dudes, like O.J. Simpson's mailman would play with us. And, it looked like an Amber Alert lineup playing hockey there. And my buddy's like, hey, I got an audition tomorrow for a commercial. You want to go with me? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? So I go in, everyone, you've been on a million auditions. Everyone's got their, portfolios and reels and whatever. And I'm literally just sitting there and the guy looks at me and goes, you want to audition too? And so I ended up getting it. I totally lied. I said I was a pro ice hockey player.
I've done that. I've totally lied in audition.
Well, I had background my lie because I thought, well, I don't know why. I have a Rain Man knowledge in my head of obscure facts. So I get in there. He's like, hey, do you have any hockey experience? I was like, yeah, I used to play for the Binghamton Whalers. And he's like, well, who's your coach? I'm like, Robbie Ftorek. And so I got the commercial based on my art of bullshit. And it was pretty abundant. First day of shooting, I was not a pro hockey player.
Are you serious?
I could barely skate.
I would have loved to have seen this.
Oh, it's great. I was the star of the commercial, so they had to use me. It was just too much was in the, can already. So
were any comments made, like the director?
I could tell they weren't pleased, but it worked out. The skating was the worst part because I'm in there with other pro hockey players, no one famous, but but it worked out. And then the director liked me so much he put me in the United commercial, and so
I've totally bullshitted. Someone said, once, do you have a problem with heights? Like, are you scared? And I said no, because this was a commercial where I was going to be one of the window cleaners, like on one of those little pulley systems. I'm not going to lie to you, dude. I've always looked at those motherfuckers and said, those fucking people are out of their fucking minds.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've always said I would never do that. And so here I am all of a sudden completely lying like, oh, I can do that. They're like, all right, now we want to be very clear. This is 40 stories up. And like, I know how tall 40 stories is. I've been in a 40-story building. I've been in 100-story. I've been in a lot of fucking buildings, right? But I wanted the job, dude. I had no fucking money. This is during the writer's strike. Con was canceled. Waiting had already come out. All my it was like if you look at my IMDb, there's like a 2-year period where
you were hot.
No, but now I'm talking about Daddy's not doing too well. There's like a 2-year period where I'm not. You know what I mean? After that shit, you know what I mean? So there was a lull. There's no way I was going to turn out a national commercial, and so I got it. And this is the motherfucker. This is why in moments like this I believe in karma. I got it. I said, I'm not afraid of 40 stories up. And they're like, okay, we want to repeat it. I'll never forget this because they're like, camera's rolling. We're taping these interviews, and the director goes, I've been burned before. I've had people say they're not allergic to cats and it's a commercial about cat food. And then on set, we got to deal with a lead actress who's got snot coming out of her mouth because she lied to us, So
Right.
this guy's clearly been burned. And the director himself, not even one of his people was doing this. He's looking in the eyes like, dude, I'm going to ask you one more time. Like, don't fuck with me. This is the moment where if you're fucking with me, you can tell me and you're still good in my book because you can walk out and not waste my time. And I still lied. And I said, yes, 40 stories. I heard you. It's fine. And he goes, all right, cool. I get the job. Dude, I was scared 5 floors up. I was already starting to go, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? And they could fucking tell. And they're like, you okay? I'm like, yeah. I might have said something like, my stomach. I think I just made something up. I don't know. And they keep going. Dude, by the time it got up there, I'm shaking like Michael J. Fox played a game of Jenga. I'm fucking losing my fucking mind, dude. I'm Kirk Douglas trying to get some grape nuts in his mouth. I'm shaking. The director clearly knows what's going on. And like the way I got out of it, I just ended up saying, I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. I just miscalculated what 40 stories is, man. He's like, yeah, but I asked you twice. I'm like, I still miscalculated. I pictured 40 in my head, and I thought maybe it's just like being up 10. He's like, you were freaking out at 5. Even if I had you at 10, I feel like we'd be having a problem. Like, not like we are right now. Dude, this was supposed to be like the fucking shortest shoot ever. It's barely any dialogue. Most of the commercial was animation, and then it cuts to some live action. It was supposed to be like all the crew members were bragging in the morning, like, dude, this is gonna be like a 4-hour day. It was a 15-hour day because of my fucking nerves. And then at the end of it, the director took me to his trailer. He went off on me. You fucking lied to me. He goes, I could have hired. There were fucking military guys that wanted this thing, and military guys aren't afraid because these guys were Air Force guys. You know what I mean? I could have hired them. And then next thing you know, the fucking commercial never airs. So the only reason I was going through all that was fucking, I'm praying for the residuals. Right. And for those of you out there that don't know, like, you do a commercial, all right, you do kind of good that day, $800 for the day. After taxes, commission, you might be clearing 4 or 5. But dude, like, it never fucking aired. So that was my karma, dude. For fucking lying. Fucking sucked.
I mean, I remember in the United Airlines commercial, I think I made like 27 grand, and I wasn't like the star of it. I was like,
that would have been a lot back then too.
Maybe like the 3rd or 4th guy. Like, God knows what the first guy made. I like the featured guy. And,
yeah.
I was like, wow, this job's easy. 2 commercials, 2 auditions. And I literally didn't book anything for 15 years.
Are you serious?
Like, commercial wise.
Have you been in any movies?
Benchwarmers in 2006.
Is that how you met Rob?
No, actually, I didn't even really talk to him on the set of that. Swartzen hooked me up because I'd opened up a few times for him. And
for Swartzen?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
You know Dixon Matthews?
I do.
He hasn't been on the scene. He kind of I
think he works for Live Nation now, or he did for a while.
I hooked him up with that job, but I think he became a cook and all that stuff. I'm not sure what he's up to now, but he had me open up for Nick a few times because they were friends, and it just goes back to being nice to someone. Me and Dixon were pretty tight when.
Did Dixon used to open for Swartzen?
I think so, and then he I don't want to say he quit comedy, but he just found other interests or whatever, and. So
how'd you hook him up with a job at Live Nation?
My ex-girlfriend works there still. She manages Motorhead. So
she manages Motorhead.
Co-manages with another dude.
Wow. So is she the one? I'm curious. Are you still in touch with her?
I mean, we're not. It was kind of somewhat of a bad breakup, but we're. I don't think I'm the first guy she wants to talk to in the morning, but we're friends.
But I mean, it didn't. She took your call to get your buddy a job. Was that?
But that was during.
Okay, gotcha. So, if she manages Motorhead, that's fascinating to me. Did she have anything to do with getting them booked on Coachella, or how did that go about?
I'm sure. I mean, I'm out of that Motorhead loop right now, but I'm sure her and Todd Singerman, who's the other manager,
That was a nice surprise seeing them on that lineup. That was really cool.
Well, I think if any metal band could pull it off, it's them, because they're kind of they're like anti-Kiss. Like, they are like, we're not really in it for the money making, even though their merchandise probably sells more than their CDs because the logo is pretty cool. So I would think that they are about the only metal band, maybe Slayer, just because they're kind of anti-establishment.
Are they all? Slayer would never play Coachella, ever.
Well, I mean,
ever.
I'm saying that the fans might be into them. Even they're like, wow.
Here's the reason they wouldn't do it: because of the bros that it would bring to the dinner table. It would bring a type of crowd that does not go to Coachella.
Well, yeah, you're probably right there. I mean, but I mean, I just think,
and they think about that shit. I know they think about that shit.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, I'm waiting for the Cars to get their invite. The Cars would probably do well at Coachella.
They actually would. That must have been a billing issue. Because first of all, they only pay so much for reunions, and everybody knows that, and now Coachella's kind of bigger than the acts itself. It's almost an honor, and it really dawns you. It's like, whoa, you did Coachella, But that must have been a billing issue. I could see the Cars saying, dude, we want to be first sub headliner, or they want it to be something up there. And Coachella's like, hey, 10 years ago, Coachella, like 2004 Coachella. Yeah. When the Pixies were main stage right for Radiohead. But dude, the Pixies did it this year. They were in one of the fucking small tents, like at fucking 5 o'clock. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's changed now, dude. Like Steve Aoki and Hardwell and Axwell and Avicii are a way bigger deal there now than say Motorhead. You know what I mean? Like fucking Motorhead didn't get that great of a slot either, to be honest with you.
Although I did see the Cars reunion at the Palladium, which was amazing.
I didn't get to go to that. I wanted to see that.
It was awesome.
The Cars are one of my favorite bands of all time.
4 original members. Of course, Benjamin Orr's dead.
Ben's dead.
They didn't even replace him. I think the keyboard player, Greg Hawkes, had the bass parts programmed or something. They did just,
I got a funny Ben Orr story for you. I used to work for 107.7 WRKR, classic rock station in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And they have this annual thing in Kalamazoo called the Kalamazoo Rib Fest. And you know those types of festivals, like it's fucking nothing but rib vendors from Texas and Kentucky and fucking all the barbecue states, Mississippi, and Ben Orr was headlining. So like all the ads were like 80 vendors, kids, like face paintings, balloons, Ben Orr from the Cars. You know what I mean? I was pumped. Like I was fucking really pumped. But like it was your classic movie scene. Like how like I'm just trying to think of a good rock and roll movie where you're gonna probably help me with this reference. Like I'm just trying to think of like a rock and roll movie where like it's about the guy. The washed up like a washed up rock star character. What's a good movie like that? But just every cliche, like literally, like when he came in for his interview that morning, he was late to the interview, bloated as all shit, but still wearing sexy clothes, and you're like, oh dude, like no, oh dude, don't.
When was this? What year?
Well, I was a DJ. This would have been between 1997 and 1999.
Because that was pretty close around when he died.
He died. Early 2000s, that's for sure.
I mean, and I'm the most heterosexual man on earth.
Uh-huh.
He was a good-looking dude.
Oh, he was a great-looking dude. He was not at this point, brother.
Oh, I know.
Like he was bloated. He was late. He smelled like alcohol.
But other than that, he looked good.
Well, after doing an interview with one of our DJs who literally like was on the air talking about how she just got engaged and how excited she is about her wedding, he still tried to come on to her backstage in front of all of us and put his arm. I mean, just all the fucking cliches of like a washed-up rock star. It was so sad, dude.
Guys don't care if I had a girlfriend the last 6.5 years. Every comic in the city was trying to fuck her.
Are you serious?
In front of me.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah. And even the girl I'm seeing now, same thing. Just guys don't care if the girl has a boyfriend or not.
I mean, I'd like to think that nobody like. I don't know. It depends on, I guess, where you're at in life, but like, I don't think any comics have tried to fuck my fiance. I mean,
They probably have.
Really?
Oh yeah, guys are pigs in comedy, LA comedy.
But she would have told me that. You know what I mean? Like she tells me all the time. She's like, "Oh my god, I had a client today that was ridiculous. I showed him the ring, and he still was like, because she works at a salon. Like she'll tell me when it's like a fucking, I actually even had a friend once actually come on to her, but it wasn't a comic. You know what I mean? And she told me about that. So I don't know. I feel like she would have told me that, but
Well, that's my one rule I go by. I never do that to another man's lady.
That's a good rule.
Well, I think I'm one of the few who does it, but
I think you have a couple rules. What are some other Earl rules?
That's really the only hardcore rule I follow. Is even if a couple broke up, I will never go out with someone's ex. I just find it
that seems weird.
Well, I just did because in my mind, like if someone did that with my ex, I would think, oh, you always wanted to fuck her. And, you just waited like a little opportunistic bastard.
Yeah.
So I never want anyone thinking that about me. But that's just a weird rule I go by. I probably the only other rule is just we all shit out of the same hole. So I treat everyone the same, whether it's Russell Peters, Chris D'Elia, or Boone Shakalaka, who's a homeless guy.
I don't know. I think Chris shits from somewhere else.
He might. He's got his shit probably comes out gold.
I think Chris. I think he's got probably a beautiful asshole.
But he probably did. He is a good looking
somewhere
guy.
else. He's figured some belly button, some sort of operation.
He doesn't shit.
I don't think. Oh, you think Chris just doesn't shit?
He's the Midas touch.
Maybe it just kind of evaporates out of him.
But I'll say this: I remember
maybe he has shitty breath because it comes out. Maybe it just kind of comes out as like air cells.
He's his life is good, man.
Yeah, but Chris is playing his cards right. I told him this the other day. I go, you keep playing your cards right, man, and you're gonna, everything's it's gonna happen beyond his wildest dreams. You know
But
what I
he's
mean?
nice to everyone, as far as I know.
But he's not fake nice. That's what I like about Chris. There's real life nice, and then there's Hollywood. I want to keep working. I want you to think that I am the easiest person to get along with, and this is a personality that I've acquired because I've seen other successful people be this way. Like almost okay. Have you seen? This is a great example. Okay, this is probably why I like Chris. Have you seen Lost in Translation?
I have not.
Okay, well, out there, I guarantee you a lot of people have. Anna Faris plays a character that's allegedly based on Sofia Coppola's. Sofia Coppola wrote and directed that movie, and she has, and because of how famous she is, fucking who her dad is, she's related to Nicolas Cage. She's met a lot of famous people, and in her time, she's spent some time with Cameron Diaz. So she based a character on Cameron Diaz, and dude, Anna Faris plays an actress in Lost in Translation who's just so just everything's so if she's here right now, she'd be like, "Wow, hi Earl, whoa, so you like hockey?
Right.
Whoa, look at all this hockey, that's neat. I like hockey. I don't know much about it. Oh my, where'd you get this couch? Just everything's just really she's just trying to be the coolest person, and she's like, we should do yoga together, dude, besties, immediate besties, immediate, whatever, and. I don't think Chris plays that game. I see a lot of comics that make it. I'm going to leave them really anonymous, but I see a lot of guys that make it. And when they stop by the clubs after they made it, it's the fakest, hey, man, I know that you're looking at me wondering if I'm still a cool guy. So I'm just going to turn on cool guy syndrome to an 11. You know what I mean? And you're going to fucking tell everybody God, man, not only has he not changed, he's gotten nicer. You know what I mean? Whatever. Chris, I mean, he's a nice guy with some edge to him, and he doesn't fucking erase the edge for anybody. But he's still not a dick, and he doesn't wield his fucking shit around, and that's what I like about him.
Oh, he's been nice to me when I met him. I think maybe '07.
Yeah,
when he was at a shitty open mic in the Valley. He's as nice to me today as he was then. And same thing with Russell Peters. I mean, this is the biggest comic in the world. $22 million last year, and we don't even talk about comedy. We talk about Kiss.
Wow.
So, I'd rather talk about comedy.
He loves Kiss?
Oh, he's a huge Kiss fan. I'm trying to get him to fund
He
it.
really is into fucking metal and shit. Russell's really excited that I'm supposed to get Marilyn Manson to be my next Comedy Rocks guest. He's going to be my interview. And Peters is pumped about that. He's like, dude, I'm doing that show.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
so I know he likes fucking dark, rock and metal. And are you only into metal, or do you like rock?
I mean, I like bands like The Cars. I'm more of probably 85% metal, but I like
Talking Heads.
I like their hits. Like Wild Wild Life, and my iPod has been stolen twice and returned within 5 minutes because it's. It's like Winger, and I mean, I'm definitely more of a butt rock because it was the prime of my teenage years was Bon Jovi, Poison, Winger, Whitesnake, bands like that. So Springsteen, I think everyone likes Springsteen.
I love Springsteen.
Even if you don't like his music, his concerts. Now I haven't seen him since Clarence died because that was just Clarence was my guy.
I just met him. I met Springsteen 2 weeks ago in front of the Improv.
Nice guy.
Very nice. Took a picture with me and everything.
I mean, that guy is to me, he's this generation's Elvis.
He's the real deal.
People I think will be real bummed out when he stops touring. Because
I don't think he will until that motherfucker has no legs.
I hope there'll be no more E Street Band because they'll all be dead. But, but I love how when he does, I think he still does it when they play 10th Avenue Freeze Out, and he does that part where the big man joined the band. The song stops and Clarence will appear on the big screen, and it's just I love shit like that.
Oh, I love, dude. I'll go to a concert just because I can't wait to see the honoring of whoever isn't in the band anymore.
Oh, I love that.
I've seen McCartney so many times, and it never gets old that he tells some of the same stories every time. He pulls out a ukulele, talks about George giving it to him, and I cry every fucking time. You know what I mean? Because George gave Paul a fucking ukulele. You know what I mean? And he'll play something in the way that she moves, and you're just fucking dying. You're like, dude, this is what I wanted. McCartney does that. Dave Matthews probably honors. Oh my God, his name is fucking the black guy that died in Dave Matthews Band. I can't remember.
There's a black guy in Dave Matthews Band?
Yes, there's several.
Well, now, the last show, speaking of black guys at concerts, what I found really cool about Van Halen was they had Kool and the Gang opening, and the story I heard was Eddie and Alex didn't really want them. David wanted them. And they were like, hey, if you want them as our opener, you pay for them. And he did. So
wow.
I thought, and I've never seen an opening act go over as well as they did that night.
Oh, I thought they did great.
I mean, I just remember looking around Staples and the whole crowd, and you forget how many hits Kool and the Gang had. At least I did.
I for sure did until that night.
At least that, okay, Celebration, and then Johanna.
Well, they don't all sound alike. And so, like, they're one of those bands that made a lot of hits where you're like, oh, that's them too. Oh, yeah, they have that kind of sound too. Oh, they can go at that tempo too. Like, you really only think of Celebrate, honestly.
Yeah.
But they have more than, they've got some hits, dude.
What's like who, the guitar player from Kiss in the 80s, a guy by the name of Bruce Kulick, he's in Grand Funk Railroad now. So I went to go see him because I know him through my ex. And Grand Funk is the same thing. You're like, I only thought they sang We're an American Band.
Yeah, for sure.
And I forget the names of their other hits, but it's like, oh, I didn't know they did that song. And it was like, wow, it was a pretty good show.
A lot of bands will surprise you. I saw the Guess Who ones. I'm like, oh, you got more than that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they'll all surprise. Unfortunately, a lot of bands get labeled one-hit wonders when really, no, they were more than one-hit wonders. Just only one really survived the test of time. One of their hits, and that happens a lot. When you go back and look who charted like on the top 10 consistently, you're like, wow, that person had that many hits. It's very surprising.
Yeah, well, I mean, Rat kind of gets labeled as a one-hit wonder because it just Round and Round was like the monster hit, and then Lay It Down and other
Lay It Down,
drop D tuning of the great Warren D. Martini and Robin Crosby, who I had a friend. This is one of the reasons I like doing the podcast. I had Tawny Katane on, who still is stunning. She used to date Robin. They were childhood sweethearts. She gets up after she did the podcast. I had a frame Robin Crosby picture when he looked beautiful. I mean, I'm telling you, he looked like him and Benjamin Orr, like just like, wow, these guys are good looking. She started crying. I said, you could take the picture.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And she, like, you wouldn't think a girl like Tawny Katane would still be in love with someone, he died in 2000, I think 4, and, they hadn't dated in 20 years, but you could tell that was still her first love. And it was just neat.
Oh, wow.
Neat to see,
That's funny, man.
So.
I'm telling you, it's time and place, man. Takes you right back. Dude, there's so many. My stepson just discovered Guns N' Roses recently, and this is great because I used to have to take him to Justin Bieber concerts because I'm going to support my kid with whatever he's into. And I remember my dad taking me to a Debbie Gibson concert and a New Kids on the Block because I didn't know any better yet. And, I hadn't learned what rock was. So, I did my best to influence him, but he's like, no, everybody at school loves Justin Bieber. I'm like, God, please make this go away. And I think God listened to me because right after that, Bieber started turning an asshole. And kids don't really want to hear that you're being a fucking asshole. They don't mind if your lyrics are about that, but they don't really like, you know what I mean? Like once he heard that, he's doing the bad shit that Bieber's been doing, my kid was like, I don't like that guy. He's like, you know who I like? I'm like, what? He's like, well, I just came home from the skate park. He goes, there was a song playing. It begins like, he's like, it's about a jungle or something. And I'm like, oh, all right. So you've seen the light. And I taught him about Guns N' Roses. And dude, he is fucking obsessed. And it's funny because he found them at the exact age I found them. I was in second grade, 1987. And that fucking album came out. This asshole that lives across the street from me, he turned out to be a fucking major douchebag named Peter. But the best thing I ever got out of him was he turned me on to Guns N' Roses. And dude, that fucking album takes me right back to like 1987 Topps cards with the wood border, those baseball cards, Fucking 87 was great, dude. Slip and Slides just came out. Fucking Guns N' Roses. Oh my God, dude. Like that's an album that takes me right back. Like you like rap because you really like that time in your life, probably.
Yeah. And well, I like Guns N' Roses because I remember they used to play that Welcome to the Jungle when we were warming up for the hockey on Sunday nights at that Culver City rink. And, this is right as they were peaking. It was like, wow, this band's pretty cool. And
they got huge, man.
I mean,
what rock band have we seen get that huge since then? I don't think we have.
I mean, the boy bands, for a 2-year, 3-year period were pretty massive.
But I'm saying what rock bands?
Oh, boy. I mean,
Even Radiohead's never gotten that big. They're still too much of a critics band. They could never sell out as many nights in a row at Staples as Guns N' Roses could have at their peak.
Well, my buddy drums for Slash now, and like it's a great gig for my friend who was basically doing music open mics. And then he would get these shitty gigs like drumming for the Bullet Boys and like these D-level hair bands. And then he somehow got hooked up with Slash. And now he's playing arenas. I think they're opening up for Aerosmith.
Yeah.
But that...
Has that started yet, that tour?
Not yet. I think my buddy's coming in town for 2 weeks for rehearsals. So it's coming. So I'm happy for him. But Slash is happy doing his own thing. So I don't think you'll ever see a reunion.
Oh, no, that won't happen. That will not happen. And that won't happen not because of Slash. Although, no, I've actually seen some interviews where he's like, listen, man, he's like, certain things would have to be said by that man, and I know that man won't say them, talking about Axl. And it's like, he's got a lot of respect, I think, you know what I mean, at a certain point, and here's the thing, Guns N' Roses, they still sell pretty well. I mean, they're doing that residency in Vegas right now. You know what I mean? And they'd sell a lot. I mean, dude, if Slash and Axl reunited, you wouldn't even need the rest of the band. You wouldn't even need Duff. If those two alone stood back to back at a concert, you could do 8 nights at the Forum. I think 8.
I think you would need I think you would need Izzy and Duff. Adler literally can't drum anymore, so you could get Matt Sorum to do his gig. Maybe have Adler come do a song or two, but because I watched Slash and my buddy play at the Wiltern, and we sat next to Adler, and I looked over at him, and he was like basically in tears, going, "Fuck, that used to be me up there." I mean, he was bummed out.
Yeah,
because my friend's a killer drummer, and he was nailing the Guns N' Roses stuff, and I could tell Adler was like, "I used to have that ability."
Can Slash play Guns N' Roses songs on his tours?
Yeah, he does.
He can.
He's got he had Slash in Slash's Snake Pit, so he's got those albums to play on, and now I think he's got 2 albums.
No, but legally.
Oh yeah, he could do it.
Why is that?
Well,
did he have some of the writing?
Because
Ben Orr, I'm not kidding. When Ben Orr did the Rib Fest, he could play Drive,
right,
and he could play. There were
probably the songs he wrote.
There were 3 hits he could play. And they weren't the major. I mean, Drive was a pretty major hit, but it wasn't one of the top 3 by any means, Well,
I think that was the bone of contention. The Cars had a pretty meteoric rise, and then, their album in '87, Door to Door, kind of, I don't know. I mean, Heartbreak City was such a huge album in '84 that, this next album was probably destined to bomb out. But I think, or deep down, everyone thought, the songs, he wasn't getting credit for singing some of the songs. They all thought it was Rick Ocasek.
Oh yeah, everybody did. Yeah.
Even in the Drive video, when it's clearly him singing the song,
they're still
Ocasek is kind of the featured part of the video because of his association with Paulina Porsakova. And what other song? He sang, Bye Bye Love and My Best Friend's Girl. I mean, he sang most of their huge hits.
But why can Slash? Because I thought there's a big thing where you can't play stuff if you didn't write it.
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. But when I saw him at the Wiltern, he did the singer. He has a guy by the name of Miles Kennedy is awesome. He's not Axl from it's a different sound, but
so that's not a thing. Why am I thinking? I mean, why have I been to so many concerts? And I'm thinking this. I thought you legally can't play certain songs, but then again, I guess people do covers all the time. So
I think what you might be thinking of is Axl as basically banned Slash from appearing at any Guns N' Roses shows. Like Slash cannot go watch Guns N' Roses. I don't think he gives a shit.
I don't think he would want to.
I think he wanted to go to one show. Maybe they did one here, and Axl was like, if I see him in the building, I'll walk out, which he probably would. He's
so crazy. But you know what? He was so nice to my son 2 weeks ago. He met my son at the Golden God Awards. I went backstage. Duff McKagan gave Jaden one of his picks. Axl took a photo with him. And he also DJ Ashba everybody took it. It was amazing. Frank Farrah gave him his hat. Everybody loved him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I used to live in the same building as Steven Adler, so I'm and that was a trip, man. I mean, he'd always have these late night episodes, and the black security guards there loved him, but they didn't know who he was, and so I'm partial to the original lineup. I don't know. To me, it's just like a tribute band with Axl singing now.
Yeah, it's not right.
But they're all talented. DJ Ash was a great guitar player, and
Frank Fair, he's a great drummer. But I think it's I like it when somebody. Oh, you know what I'm thinking of about the song thing? I'm thinking about like even Steve Perry toured, but he didn't tour as Journey. Like he would tour as Steve Perry,
right? I mean,
and John Steppenwolf guy. John Kay.
Right.
John Kay would tour as John Kay. It would say John Kay from Steppenwolf. So I'm always surprised by the guys that tour as themselves and say from blah, blah, blah. And then the guys that still tour and say, no, I'm still Guns N' Roses. Like what's that all? Like when does that happen? Is there a reason why sometimes it happens the John Kay? I've seen bills where it says John Kay from Steppenwolf on some festival. And then it'll say Steve Perry from Journey. You know what I mean? But then some guys just tour like Sublime still goes around like they're Sublime, even though they don't have a lead singer. And then you see the reverse. You see Axl going around, but not with any of the band.
Sorry, that's Lois, everyone.
Lois has an opinion on this.
Lois chiming in on the...
What was that, Lois?
Lois. All right, Lois is... I got her at Michael Vick's ranch. She's a little shattered right now. Undefeated, 12-0.
Well, I'm saying though, like, why does it go down some different ways like that? Touring.
Well, I think it depends on what type of split you had. Like Stephen Pearcy from Rat, like he's playing the Whiskey on June 13th, and it's being billed as Stephen Pearcy, the voice of Rat. He had a pretty bad break with Rat.
What year was that?
Breaks. Well, I mean, there's that's why I want to get him on the podcast, because he says he got fired. They say he quit, and then he was touring at one point, just saying Rat, and then they were like, "You can't say that. We're Rat." Now their story's insane because he founded the band in San Diego, but he doesn't have the rights to the name. The guitar player and drummer do.
Why?
And they were brought in from him. Well, I don't think he probably had the best lawyer. I mean, it was like, that just doesn't make sense to me, which would be my first question. You founded the band.
Yeah. How
do Bobby and Warren own it? And it's a real interesting dynamic with them because, like, they make more money with him singing, obviously. He's the voice of the hits. The guitar player comes from family money. So he's like, well, I'm not going to go play, a rib fest in Jacksonville for $2,500. I don't need to do that. The drummer needs the money. He divorces kids, all that stuff. So it's like, and the bass player's got a recording studio, so he makes money, So it's a real interesting, like, how the inner workings of a band are when one guy doesn't need to tour, the other guy desperately needs to tour, but he hates the singer who he makes the most money with. So it's like,
well, now you got, that's the Talking Heads in a nutshell. David Byrne owns all the publishing. David Byrne has had a successful solo career. David Byrne has made feature films. He has scored movies. He's doing just fine. But then you got fucking Jerry Harrison and Tina Weymouth, I think it is. They're just fucking. They're like, dude, we would love to get the band back together, but David hates them, and it's almost his way of going, motherfucker. David Byrne headlined the Hollywood Bowl in 2005. Arcade Fire. There's another great one. Earlier we were talking about people opening for people. Right. Arcade Fire opened for David Byrne. You know what I mean? Now look at Arcade Fire. They're fucking huge. Do you like Arcade Fire?
I mean, they're a little too modern for me.
A little too modern for you?
I like... I don't
you were so like my friend Darren Gear. You and Darren have to meet, dude. My buddy Darren, he's way up at a multi-billion-dollar company at a...
I want to meet him.
In Irvine. Well, it's not his money. He's just way up there as far as like a position. But he works in Irvine, but he still runs a band. He's got a band called Deaf Tiger. And they're very much his favorite band of all time. Two favorite bands of all time are Def Leppard and Rat. And he likes Rat on a level that like we've had him and his wife and me and other people are like, dude, it's unhealthy how much you like Rat. So whenever you talk about Rat on Twitter, I'm always like, I gotta get you two together. If he fucking found out you were gonna have
Tony Katane,
who you having over from
Stephen Piercy,
yeah. He would want, first of all, Darren is an audio engineer. He would want to be at that computer running the fucking.
Oh, do it.
You should act like he's the audio engineer during that episode. Oh my God, dude. He would fucking.
I mean, well, I owe everything about this podcast to Ari Manis, who's a really funny comic. If you notice the sound quality on the first couple Inappropriate Earls, maybe it wasn't the greatest because I didn't know what I was doing. And dude, I don't know how, now I know how to operate it within relative competence, but, Ari's been awesome, like setting the mics up and, because, obviously I want the podcast to do as good as it can and it's going to be compared to the top ones. So, I'm embarrassed at some of the early episodes, but
you don't like a lot of modern music. Do you like Tool?
I like music where you don't have to think about the lyrics. Like, when Kiss is singing "Lick It Up," you're not going, "What's he talking about?"
Yeah. No, I know Tool's an art band. They're like Talking Heads, or they're an art band. I'm not a smart person. I make no bones about that. I'm street smart, but I don't like REM, U2, sing about the rainforest. I want Van Halen. I ain't talking about love or the guy I'm obsessed with more than Rat. And I'm obsessed with Rat just because it meant so much to me as a kid, is this guy by the name of Vinnie Vincent. I'm trying to get Russell Peters to fund a documentary. On who?
Okay, the original four members of KISS were, I'll give you the shortened Wikipedia version. Ace, Paul, Peter, and Gene.
Ace, Paul, Peter and Gene. Wait, who is touring with KISS right now?
Well, that's a whole different animal.
Well, who are the two that are still in?
Gene and Paul, and then it's my friend Eric Singer, the drummer.
So Gene and Paul are still in.
Gene and Paul are still in it.
Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons. Who are the two that are out now?
Ace and Peter.
Ace Frehley,
Peter, Chris.
Chris, yeah.
So my friend Eric Singer's the drummer. The guitar player, he's an interesting dude. You used to be in a KISS tribute band called Cold Gin, who my ex from Motorhead managed Cold Gin, and he played Ace Frehley. He was also in the 80s band Black and Blue. When KISS first got reunited, Ace was so bombed out and was so used to playing sloppy since 83 when he left the band, that Tommy, who played Ace in the tribute band, had to reteach him his own solos. That's like me trying to tell you how to tell your jokes. It's like,
Skyler, that's not how you did it.
Yeah, you did it like, blah, blah, blah. So,
wow.
So Ace leaves and they're like, their reunion tour was crazy. That I think in '96, the KISS reunion was mammoth, and I think
probably the highest grossing one that year.
Oh my God! Maybe those first 2 years they reunited, they were double nights and every.
They have such fans.
Well, they're morons, and I'm one of them.
But they're huge.
But
you guys don't just go. You are merch whores. You guys, I'm looking at your place right now. Like, you guys are why they are touring again.
And I'm not even that much of a KISS nut swinger. I mean, I'll buy the CDs, maybe a T-shirt or two. But so now Tommy is Ace. He dresses up as Ace in KISS. So but KISS's history is so crazy in terms of who's played on what albums, whatnot. So Peter leaves in '80. Eric Carr comes in to be the drummer. Not Eric Singer, Eric Carr. Ace leaves in '83 and is replaced by Vinnie Vincent, who wrote Lick It Up. He basically wrote the whole Lick It Up album.
Really?
Vinnie Vincent, Lick It Up is basically a Vinnie Vincent solo album.
So when does he leave the band?
Well, this is a great story. He was such a maniac.
In what sense? I mean, that's a broad term.
Wow.
Druggy?
No. He basically, his tenure in KISS is so fascinating. He writes Lick It Up, the whole album, 8 of the 10 songs. KISS was in real rough territory in the 80s. They put out Unmasked in '80, that bombed. They were trying to rip off Pink Floyd, so they put out a concept album, The Elder, which is it's not as bad as that totally tanked. They do one hard rock record, Creatures of the Night. It kind of tanked, so they take off the makeup. Vinny was the last member in makeup. He was the Egyptian warrior. Great Egyptian ankh on his face. Killer design. He's kicked out of Kiss 3 times in 2 years. But he was so talented, they kept bringing him back saying, fuck it. He was basically like, I don't want to be a hired gun. I'm a member or I'm out. And Gene and Paul, you don't talk like that to them. They're like, hit the road, bro. We'll get anyone to play these songs.
Gene is, have you met him?
I met him a few times.
Pretty stuck up, dude.
Well, I had a great dinner interaction with him.
He's pretty
once.
stuck up, but go ahead.
So, finish the story about Vinnie Vincent, why I'm obsessed with him. So he gets
But then tell me that dinner story, because I want to know that too.
Oh, it's great. He gets kicked out of Kiss. He forms the Vinnie Vincent Invasion.
Any good?
It doesn't hold up, but at the time, this was in full butt rock era. Anyone who's worked with Vinnie will tell you.
There's something so funny about you saying butt rock. Like, I know what it means and I've heard the term, but when you say it, it's just hilarious.
Well, if you YouTube Vinnie Vincent and just the video's so over the top, guitar solos that go on way too long. Anyone who has worked with him will say the same thing. He's one of the most talented Van Halen-like musicians you can be in a room with, but he's his own worst enemy. And so 2 years later, he gets kicked out of the Vinnie Vincent Invasion.
Of his own band?
Yeah. I mean, that's impossible.
Wait, but...
And then they go on to form...
Why is he, so he's not... It's not drugs. It's not women. It's not fucking other... Why is he so... Is he just one of those people you're like, dude, he's annoying?
Well, I mean, even Rolling Stone tried to contact him because, Kiss just got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And
so he's just difficult to get along with. He's just not a nice person.
They were interviewing Mark Slaughter about him because Slaughter was the second singer in the Vinnie Vincent Invasion. The first singer was Robert Fleischman, who was the original singer in Journey. So that's his history is so crazy. And Mark Slaughter was like, he's one of the most brilliant musicians I've ever worked with, but he just is never satisfied. So he's always like, we can do better. We can do better. We can do better. And he just burned bridges with everyone. And his personal life is crazy. He sued Kiss like 5 or 6 times. He lost every time. His first wife ended up being a prostitute and is found chopped up in Connecticut.
Was he accused?
No. It was John did it to her.
Who's John?
John Doe. I mean, John, a hooker.
Oh, gotcha.
And, he used to write jingles for Happy Days. I mean, it's just the craziest vagabond musical lifestyle story.
Fucking crazy.
But his story has never really been told. Like Gene and Paul tell you he was a maniac. He didn't want to, be a team player. The guys from Slaughter were like he was a great guy, but he was a maniac. And I just think it would be a great documentary to find him. Rolling Stone couldn't even find him. They would say, hey, Kiss is being inducted. You want to, what are your thoughts? They couldn't find him. So I just think it would be such a great documentary to find him and go, what's your side of your story? Because
that is a good one. I could see, so you think like me, man. I'm always disappointed at the guy that doesn't get the credit that he should get, like dude, when I think of Pink Floyd, I don't think of Roger Waters and I don't think of David Gilmour, I think I'm always the guy, like there's other stories to be told. Like, dude, where is the fuck, if you thought The Doors was a good movie about Jim Morrison, can you imagine? Are you a Pink Floyd fan or not?
A little too deep for me, but I totally respect their talent.
But the song Shine On You Crazy Diamond is based on a former member that died, Sid Barrett. You know about him? Or
I've heard, yeah.
I mean, he's out of his fucking... Dude, he did so much acid once. For a long time, he thought he was a glass of orange juice.
I've been there.
And he thought if you got too close to him, you might knock him over. And if you knocked him over, he would spill out and he would cease to exist. He wouldn't be a glass of orange juice anymore. So he didn't let people near him. Like, that's fucking... I want to see that movie. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm always interested. I mean, you can't make a documentary. Or you can make a documentary on someone that's dead. But I'm more interested in the what just happened with like Rodriguez, that movie, Searching for Sugar Man. Did you see that?
No, I have not.
You know about it though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I love the idea of like, they fucking found this guy. He was like a big deal in South Africa.
Right.
This motherfucker was Elvis in South Africa. And no one bothered to tell him. Like, he didn't know. Like, he didn't know that he blew up. The word just, there was no Twitter. There was no way to see that, whoa, you're trending. You better get your bookie agent to book you over here because you're fucking blowing up over here. This is a great story of like, it just reminds me of how times once were with payphones and analog and everything, where like, dude, it took a fucking beat to get information to people. And here's a guy that blew the fuck up and he didn't know it. And so they found this motherfucker homeless. Rodriguez was homeless in Detroit. And somebody said, do you know that like you have fans and like you can go make money? And now he's huge. He played at Coachella. He's touring. And like, you know, I like that you think that way because, you know, I have a lot of goals. You know, it's not just to be, you know, I don't want to just be famous being funny. I can't wait to use my power to produce stories. And I don't give a fuck if it's a documentary I break even on and just sell to Netflix and it just is something people saw and like people come up to me and say, I love that you made that. Like, what'd you make off that? Not a dime. I actually lost money. Like, I can't wait to lose money on good stories like the ones you're talking about, you know, because I think that's important, dude. You got to make documentaries like that. That's a great idea.
I mean,
in fact, I'd stop talking about it. Do you need to do that?
I mean, it just,
dude, Earl, I don't want to tell you how to run your career, but dude, I'm telling you right now, I would watch a fucking documentary that opens like this. That you could literally open your documentary with this conversation that we're having right now. You could literally have I can see credits rolling. You're coming up from Black up to Earl getting ready in the morning, which is, you know, anything from, you know, putting up a new piece of Kiss memorabilia to, you know, dealing with, you know, playing a funny voicemail from the lead singer of Rat going, hey man, I got to cancel again, dude. I'll be like, I could just see the credits going up and down. And what is a daily life like in Earl's life? And you're like, I can't take this anymore. You know, comics always cancel. So do singers of fucking Rat. Fucking, you know, I last two commercials I booked were 1988. I'm sick of not being passed to the store. You know what? I'm going to do what I really want to do right now because I'm 45. I would watch the documentary of you, not someone else. You, Earl Skakel, finding, what's his name?
Vinny Vincent.
I would watch that. And I think a lot of people would watch that. And then the other thing is you'd become this like rock and roll comic that, you know, because now you're on the road and you're not just a comic. You're like a comic / storyteller. You could literally book shows in places like Austin and Seattle, like progressive cities where they still care about you. Like, you know, I don't know that you could do. I mean, I guess I don't really know much about like, you know, Kiss fans. Are they in Peoria? Is that like a town?
There are Kiss fans. They're everywhere. They're like cockroaches.
Well, then you need, like, here's the thing, dude. If you are one of them and the Kiss Army is truly a Kiss Army, you need to have you need to see Death Squad is really tapped into something where it's like there's these rabid fans that support each other and like support the other, all, you know, Tony and all those guys. Right. Like, you need to tap into the Kiss Army, dude. I'm telling you, because if you're one of them, they're gonna know they can cut you open and see that you are.
Oh yeah.
If I tried to fake it, they would eventually go, dude, it's fucking, I heard you on Earl's podcast and he had to even tell you who Vinny, you know.
Well, not a lot of people know who he is, but
I'm sure a lot of the Kiss Army does though.
But it's just like, and I've already got the ending of the beginning of the podcast could be just like what you said, but
don't give away the ending if you have it.
No. Okay. Here's the begin. Well, this might be giving away because I'm going to give away another part of the beginning was, you know, after he lost all these lawsuits against Kiss, he needed to make money. So, you know, he's written songs for the Bangles. You know, he used to write jingles for Happy Days. He was in the Dan Hartman band, Dan Hartman sang that really big song called "I Can Dream About You."
Yeah.
So he's not just a metal guy, and so he put out a box set on cassette. And it came in a pink Flying V guitar case because that's what he usually played. And I ordered it and I opened it up and there was nothing in there. Like, it was a total scam. So what I want to do is, I still have the
Earl, this is fucking, wait, one more time.
But here's what I do.
Wait, what did you order?
I ordered the Vinnie Vincent box set on cassette, which should have been a big
what
red
year
flag
was this?
There. This is probably left. I mean, it's sometime in the 90s. I mean, it's a blur.
So you ordered it off the internet or what?
VinnieVincent.com or whatever the...
okay, so this is post-internet. Yeah. So you go to VinnieVincent.com and you ordered what?
The Vinnie Vincent box set.
And it was supposed to be cassette tapes.
Just
how many?
Demos, a 6, and it came in this great case.
And what else is supposed to be in there?
a couple autograph pictures and whatnot.
And what happened?
So I get the autograph pictures, which was really cool, and there was no cassettes. Like, it was like, that old story you used to hear, people would order a VCR online and they'd get it and it was just rocks in the box. Like, it was kind of like that. So what I want to do is let's just say the gods look down upon me for once in the entertainment world. We find him. Someone says, "Hey, Earl, I'm Vinny Vincent's brother. We want to do it, blah, blah, blah." Is me knocking on his door with my box set going, "All right, I want my box set."
Dude, I'm telling you, and so I'm glad we're getting back to, because earlier I wanted to ask you why you do a lot of self-knocking jokes, and I don't know that those are helping you as much as you think that they're, what's the word?
Helping me, they're not.
Well, as much as you think that they're, like you don't need to tell people what place you're in. People know what place you're in. You know why? Because, are you headlining 20 clubs a year?
No.
Then you're not where you want to be. So no one needs to no one needs to be reminded. But it's also very your personality. It's kind of, I've seen you do it where it really actually does. I'm going to take back part of this because I've seen it one time. One of my favorite Earl Skagel stories is being at the Comedy Store, and please tell me you remember this. It's you. It's me. It's one of the Death Squad guys. I never seem to know his name. Who does who does Tripoli's show with him, and he's always there?
Oh, Jason Tebow.
Is he tall?
Yeah,
Is
tall.
he usually the bunny or dresses
Oh,
up
that's
like?
Skippy Simon.
It might be. I think it's Tebow. It's Tebow actually. So we're all back there, and Brody was there, and Brody just got word that his show was going to be on, from being it used to be the HBO digital series. It was going to be on Comedy Central now. Do you remember kissing his ass to make us all laugh on a really large, hilarious level and moving his car for him? Do you remember this?
I don't.
You don't remember that?
I don't think it was me, dude. I know I never moved Brody's car.
Or you at least offered to.
Oh, yeah, I might have done that. I do remember us talking in like an inner circle because I have like this, I don't do a lot of acting, but I have this character I've kind of developed over the years of being that really phony, fake person. Like when I see a big name comic like Russell Peters, I'll walk right up to him and go, "Hey, man, can I give you my demo reel to give to Barry Katz?"
Yeah. But you were doing it right there. It was really, someone said, "Brody, Mr. Comedy Central." You're like, "Oh, hey, buddy. Brody, do you need me to move your car for you?" And then you joke, you said, "I'm not doing this just to be nice. I'm doing this because I would obviously love to be on your Comedy Central show." Like,
you got to schmooze,
you
man.
were like going over the top of it. It was actually really funny. But you said something interesting. You said, if the gods would once shine down on me. I think the mistake you're making is thinking that fate has anything to do with it, especially in this YouTube, MacBook Pro, Final Cut. Cameras are less than $1,000 world right now. Like, dude, honestly, I could see Russell Peters even fucking wanting to present a documentary like this. Imagine like Russell Peters EPing. I mean, does he love Kiss?
Oh, he's a huge Kiss fan.
Are you serious?
That's where we bonded first. I'm trying to think who introduced us. Yoshi Obayashi, a very funny Asian comic. Was Russell's opener. One night he introduced us, and I think we went to Russell's house, probably one of his many houses, and a Kiss video was on, and Russell's eyes lit up. I'm like, "Oh, you like Kiss?" And so and he was a huge Vinny Vincent
I could
fan.
see Russell EPing. First of all, you need a great title.
I think it's like Finding Vinny.
No, because that's been done. Like the Finding so-and-so, Searching for Sugarman was the title that Rodriguez won. Finding.
Maybe Where Are You, Vinny?
Yeah, or maybe, because the poster is you standing in front of a white backdrop, like a white cyc wall, and you've got the fucking, you're wearing your fucking Kiss shirt, you got your holy jeans, whatever. You need to look fucking.
I want my box set, Vinny.
Like something like, dude, where's my cassettes? Or like, or where am I? Like, I'm telling you right now, it's got to be something. I mean, I understand maybe wanting to have Vinny in the title, so that way people do really, know what it is or care to learn. Vinny who's he talking about? What's his name again? Vinny what?
Vinny Vincent. Real name Vincent Cusano.
Vincent. I'm telling, dude, you on the hunt trying to find that guy. Tell his story. Find out why you got this in the mail, but the cassettes weren't in it.
Yeah.
And
what's
then,
up?
but then somehow, this is where it would take the gods shining down. But like making it happen. wouldn't take the gods. You just need to fucking do it.
Like I could see this getting on at Sundance. Like
I promise you.
Like
And by the way, if not Sundance, at least Slam Dance. And if not even in Utah, there are plenty of festivals that would care about this. And then there's guys that you just need to connect with, like Brian Posehn and comics that would care about this. I don't know if Posehn's a Kiss fan or not. I mean, I know he's a fucking major metal guy, but
there was some huge guy at Happy Madison. I don't know how he heard I was a Kiss fan, but he called me up when I was a huge director. And he's like, "Hey, I hear you're a Kiss fan. You got some really cool bootlegs." I'm like, "Oh yeah, man!" And I dropped them all off at his house, and I never heard from him again. But Witten, big director.
Brian Witten?
Yes,
that's my friend.
He somehow we got in touch. Someone told him I was a huge Kiss fan. I literally dropped off probably 50 audio and mostly VHS tapes of
dude. If we connected Witten, you, me, Russell Peters, I feel like we could fucking get this thing started.
There's something there because I'm not even telling you half of this guy's
and I don't
story.
want you to. See, like, I understand you. By the way, the thing that you gave away that's perfect. That's actually what you need to sell it. The rest, you shouldn't share with everybody because the rest should unfold. But that's a great hook into it. I mean, because it's a personal, you've now not just made it a curiosity factor. It's like a personal, like, dude, I'm your biggest. I'm the guy out there fucking defending your name, saying
only fan.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, he put out. Here's another beauty, and I don't. And people who would watch just already know this story. I don't feel like I'm giving it away. So he puts out this album called Guitarmageddon.
Oh, that's already
71
funny.
minutes, which is a lot of, most albums I think are like 40 minutes or whatever. So I get it in the mail. I open it up. I'm so fucking excited to get it.
What year?
This has got maybe early 2000s, late 90s maybe. And so I'm putting in the CD player and it's just him doodling. So I'm like, all right, I'm kind of not into this first song. And so I fast forward. It goes to the end.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, maybe there's a skip or something. He made it so you had to listen to the whole thing. You couldn't fast forward to like another part. Like you had to listen to 71 minutes. It was basically one track. Like you either were going to listen to the whole thing or you weren't listening to it.
Yeah.
And I just it was like a big fuck you. Like it was this, like he was making you listen to the whole thing. Like, do you ever listen to a whole album initially?
It depends.
You might hopscotch around.
Well, no, there's band. I mean, like Radiohead. The first thing it's like a whole day. Like I fucking break down that album. If it's a band that I love, dude. I'm a huge Ben Folds fan. I listen to everything he does. But dude, this is a great story. Vinny, where's my cassette tapes? Or what's the title of
Where's
this,
my
dude?
box set, you bastard?
Come on, you inappropriate Earl fans. We need to get this trending on Twitter. What is the title of Earl's documentary?
And then,
dude, where's my cassettes?
You could interview. I don't think Gene and Paul would do it because they would probably want money. I mean, this would be a pretty low budget thing, but I'm sure the guys from Slaughter would be, hey man, you worked with him last. What's up with this guy? And you just could interview like, different band members. I mean, Dan Hartman's dead, so you're not going to get him in the mix, but he's such an enigma. And just the fact that Rolling Stone, with all their resources, all their inside leads, I mean, you couldn't find him. I mean,
did they write an article about how they couldn't find?
They did. It was really cool, and that was the whole thing. Gene and Paul wanted the original members. No, they wanted the current band to be inducted, and Rolling Stone was like, it's Gene, Paul, Ace, and Peter, nobody else. So I think they were trying to reach out to Vinny and be like, well, you rescued their careers in the '80s, which he did. Because this
is a great untold story. What else could be called? Vincent Van Cassette.
Yeah, Vincent Van Gone Nowhere.
Vincent Van Gone Nowhere.
So, guys, tweet. First of all, I got a haircut at 5. I'm not going to lie to you.
I got to get my kids.
No. But I want to see. This is so good. You could come back next week or whenever. That we didn't even talk about greatest concerts. We didn't really even get into your comedy and film career. So,
which is fine because how many times I actually kind of like that because sometimes I feel like people start to say, oh yeah, so you told the story about how you sold Connigan to Comedy Central. I'm like, well yeah, the person asked, what was I supposed to do? Tell them, hey, I've already answered that on a. You know what I mean? Like we have to remember that not only do you have your fans that listen to your podcast, then I've got mine following me to yours. Then there's just comedy fans in general that like just like to jump around and go, "What's going on?" And they start to hear the same stories over and over. They're like, "Oh, I've already heard that story about how he got his SAG card or fucked his first girlfriend or whatever."
I mean, I try and make it a little different. Like when the guy Stephen Piercy from Rack comes on, he's told the story millions of times how he founded the band and seen.
Yeah, you're gonna need to come up with some stuff because you also want to impress him. You want him to go, "I really liked what he asked me," because I haven't been asked some of those things ever or in a long time.
Well, I'm such a fan of his that I'll ask him about Arcade, which was the band he did after Rat. I was at their first show at the Troubadour. And in Arcade is the drummer from Cinderella, Fred Curry, who I'm trying to get on this podcast, because he had the greatest quote ever in rock history. Cinderella was pretty big for a while. They had a nice peak in the like 87 to like 90. And they were like, "Well, Fred, what's your career goal, man? You guys are a hot band. What do you want to do with your life?" He's like, "I just want to be good enough to play on the albums."
Really?
I was like, huh? Wait, then that was like my first like, "Oh, you didn't play on the album?" I just assumed that every band plays on their own album.
Yeah.
And, then once I got really into Kiss and find out that Gene, Paul, Ace, and Peter very rarely played on the same album, even back in the day.
They're session guys.
Yeah.
And you start learning about that. You know a lot about music. What do you think are the top 5 comedians that know the most about music? We're in it.
I mean, I would say me, Dean Del Rey. He's a huge.
He knows a lot about music. I don't know that he would say that about me and include me, but I'll include him.
Well, I mean, I don't. See, this is the beauty of me. I'm not. If I didn't have to go get my coif done, we would delve into this. Like I'm in such a bubble. I don't know who likes who gets along with who doesn't like who. So when I'm asked to make a top 5 list, I could put Mortal Enemies together, and not. It just.
I'm not into Dean.
Oh no,
by any means. But he has. I think he has a thing with me. It's something weird. Is he's followed me twice on Twitter and then unfollowed me. And then I've run into him a couple times recently, and like he used to be a lot warmer towards. I don't know. I think he has a thing with me. I got no thing with him.
Oh no, he's cool to me. I mean, we used to do. Cool he really was my the push into doing a podcast. Is I used to go on his podcast. We would do like special episodes when I would be like his co-host, and it's like, okay, this is how it's done. And at the end of the day, I just got too lazy to drive up to his house every Thursday. So it's like, I think I'll do my own. And Brian Posehn, Ian Bag's pretty knowledgeable about.
I'd put Posehn up there. Bag, you, me, Dean.
Nick Youssef is.
We did that at the same time. That's hilarious.
And then Don Barris actually is unbelievable with his music knowledge.
Oh, really?
And it's not just like I'm more towards one genre. He's like a huge Beatles freak. He'll tell you who played on Zeppelin 5. He's like a Rain Man on music. 45s. He's got like thousands of 45s. So, but will you come back, baby?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Dude, do you have anything you want to plug? When's the next improv show?
When is this being released?
Tonight.
This is being released tonight, Tuesday the 17th of June, 10 p.m. Comedy Rocks. Me. Marilyn Rice Cub
from 24, Chloe.
24, Chloe from 24. Me, 10 p.m. June 17th, Hollywood Improv. God, I'm missing the lineup. Who the heck is on it? Jim Jeffries, Chris D'Elia, Gerard Carmichael. It's going to be a good show.
Gerard's the best. So nice, too.
Waiting to hear back on a couple people. Offer out to Bill Burr, offer out to Swartzen. They'll let me know soon. So there's that. And then I'm headlining Harrah's Casino in Vegas July 28th through August 3rd. And I got Pachanga coming up in September. I don't remember the dates, but all you got to do is follow me on Twitter at the Skyler Stone. That's TheSkylerStone.
Well, follow Skyler. He's, there's not many people you stay in contact in this business with outside of, what they can do for you or what you can do for them. He's seriously, if I could keep 10 people in the LA comedy world for my 15 years in it, he'd be one of them.
That's my man. I feel the same way about you, Earl.
And if I quit comedy,
we'll go to concerts together.
I would still be in contact with you. And I can't say that about probably less than 5 people. So,
That's awesome, dude.
Skyler Stone, this has been Inappropriate, Earl. We're on SoundCloud. And for you Steve Job nut swingers, you can still log on to iTunes. Leave a review, man. If you're some of Skyler's fans who don't know who I am, which I'm assuming is all of you, check out the pod. Leave a nice review on iTunes. It helps me get higher up the fucking featured ladder, whatever that means. And, this will be released tonight. Game 5, Kings and Blackhawks. Let's go, Kings.
Are you pumped?
I'm pumped. This is Kings could win it all tonight and get into the Cup Finals.
When was their last game? Last night?
They played Monday night. They beat the Blackhawks, I think 5-6. They beat them by 3 or 4 goals. I was at game 3 with Sarah Tiana. She was my good luck charm.
I love Sarah.
Sarah's the best. Follow
Sarah's
her.
awesome. She's talented. Really cool chick.
And
Her and I were extras in a NSYNC music video together in 2001.
Hey, man, it's a credit.
Yeah, so
I was an extra in a Suzanne Summers TV movie of the week. I'll take Bombing for 500, Alex. I was the worst. Guys, thank you very much for listening, and I'd like to thank my sponsors. We're not fucking around on this podcast.
fuck no.
Stevie Rochelle from the great 80s metal band Tough provides the music to this iPod podcast, the great song Forever Yours. Buy it on iTunes. And a thank you to Stephen Piercy, the great legendary singer. He's not the singer of Rat anymore. Go check his bands out: Arcade, Vicious Delight, Vertex. He provides the Mike Knuckles for the show. Go on MikeKnuckles.com, buy a couple Mike Knuckles, and we'll see you on the information superhighway. And I like to leave you with words of wisdom. If you think you can, you probably can't.